Good evening. Good evening. How is everyone this fine Wednesday? It's the middle of the week. We're almost to the end of January. That means there is news that we probably shouldn't talk about until we actually know what's going on. But I know that it's all the buzz at the moment. So there we go. It's Champions League night. Jonathan Edwards has asked just at this moment, what are our predictions for the Champions League? So how are we feeling? Aston Villa are playing Celtic at home. A win could potentially, if results elsewhere go our way, get us a bye into from the next round, which would be great. But we are guaranteed to be in the knockout phase of the Champions League, which is incredible and a little bit surreal. Man City, PSG potentially could fail to make the next round, and that's our big question for today. Which teams fall in the UCL? It'll be interesting to see. Do we end up with some big casualties, or does it all eventually fall into place and your Man Cities, your PSGs, they make it through to the next round by the skin of their teeth? Perhaps as part of some kind of weird trajectory where they go on to win the whole thing, and people will talk about this amazing story, how they were almost on the brink of disaster, and yeah, same old bloody nonsense. So there we go. We'll see how things go. How are people this evening? How have your weeks been so far? How do you feel about tonight's Champions League? We don't have Champions League with Darmstadt right now. We're currently sitting 9th in the Zweite Bundesliga, but maybe in the foreseeable future. So before we head over to the game itself, let's play a little game, because Coritiba has redeemed a mystery mini game. So we will do. Generally, I like to start with a round of Guess the Player. It's something nice and easy to bring people up to speed. You know, it's early evening. Many of you have had a long day at work, and what you need is something nice and gentle to ease yourself into the stream, and that's what we've got with Guess the Player. If you're new in and you're not familiar with the game, it's really straightforward. You're going to see 4 pictures from a player's profile: their positions, their attributes, their scout report, and their career history, one after another. Your job is to guess who the player is. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. And there's a lovely little leaderboard down there. We run one for all time. We run one weekly as well. So there's always a reason to get involved. Now, it is using the default database in FM24, and it is the start of the game. So players that have moved in real life, like Manuel Ugarte, for example, will still be at their original club. So just something to be aware of. And once we move over to the very first clue, I can catch up and say hello properly to everyone, because we have a Levi in, we have a Johnny Trotter, we have a Lewis, we have a Holifab. Fabulous, lovely to see you all this evening. I hope you're well. Obviously we have a Coritiba who's just won the Copa de Brazil in their say. Fantastic stuff. DMB Sisters lurking. He's off to have food. Never going to stand in the way of a man and his food. We've got Lewis A in. We've got Jonathan Edwards. We've got Tales of the Tape / Mr. Grizzly P. We have a Hung Do Min. Welcome on in, Hung Do Min. We have a Knight of Knee. Welcome in, Knight of Knee. My word. We have a Lance is in. Lance is in. Fabulous, lovely to see you, as is Miocic. Miocic is hoping that it starts easy. We've got Seb in as well. Seb has come in with the very first guess of Halseth Naipan. That's a fine guess. Hollyfab's got some guesses as well. We've got Asanu Draga. Johnny Trotter is going for the Twitter account, I'm guessing the FM forums account. Tikka Mazala, a great tactical mind. So Lance wants to know what I feel about the bids for both Watkins and Duran. Who would I prefer to see leave, if any? I'd like neither to leave, because we let Diego Carlos go without a replacement in place, and we're coming towards the end of the window. So unless we have that replacement already in, I don't want any players going out. So Mr. Grizzly's gone for Danny Sabaz. Hungdamin's gone for Enzo Lafitte. Coritiba's gone for Canales. There's some fabulous guests in there. Hungdamin's gone for Manu Kone. We've got Francho Serrano and Alberto Malero as well, which is some very, very decent guests. So Hungdamin says that today is the Lunar New Year. It's the year of the snake now. Fantastic. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Hungdamin. Now, I can tell you whether this is good or bad. We have eased you in quite well, because we do have a correct guess in here. We have a correct guess. One of the guesses so far is correct. And that guess if we go and look at their profile, it probably tells you what you need to know, because that's not the profile of players that aren't necessarily that's not someone who's refined. That's not a Manu Kone. That's not a Canales. That's not a Danny Sabales. It could be an Udrago. It could be a Halseth Naipan. But they're playing in Norway. Which means that it is in fact Seb C13 with the 5-pointer. It was indeed Sverre Halseth Naipan. That's incredible stuff. That wasn't just his first guess of the day. That was the very, very first guess that came in. Sensational stuff, Seb. Sensational. That applause from Johnny Trotter. The 3 applause from Levi, from Lewis, from Holifab, from Hung Min, from Koratiba, from Quadmofan, welcome in Quadmofan, and from Johnny Trotter. How about that? That was some incredible work right off the bat. So it's that two-footedness that made you go for it. That is some good knowledge. That is some very, very good knowledge. Now, he has been talk of the time, Naipan, hasn't he? Because, you know, he's had discussions with Arsenal, with the City Group, with Aston Villa, with Man United. There are suggestions he is about to be on the move. So we'll see what's going to happen with him in due course. Right, let's head on over into the game. And I will catch up on some of those bits of chats that I missed now. So Hung Min's hoping that Arsenal take a loss. Koratiba thinks Villa might get done with Maeda scoring. It's possible. The Holifab doesn't really watch football, to be honest. Was watching Fulham Man United and knew exactly why I don't watch football. That was not an advert for the beautiful game. Let's be fair. That was a very, very painful game to watch. I only saw the highlights as well. And that was enough for me to be glad that I didn't watch it full. So there we go. Right, here we are. This is where things stand right now. We are 7 games away from the end of the season. We currently sit in 9th on 38 points. We are 11 points behind Mainz with a game in hand, who sit in the playoff position. And we are 13 points ahead of the relegation playoff positions. I think it's probably safe to say that in terms of like real proper stakes this year, that we don't really have anything major going on. We obviously want to finish the season as well as we possibly can. We want to, if we can really push. We made a promise to the board that at the end of next season, we will get ourselves promoted automatically. So next season, we're aiming for a top 2 finish. And a good way to go about that would be to get some momentum to end the season, find those players that we can trust and we can build around. And as Johnny says, there is some nice end of season prize money in the Bundesliga, both the main and the second division. Let's have a look to see if there is some news there. Indeed. Like from 16th gets you 8 million euros. 4th gets you 14 million euros. There is some very nice money in the Bundesliga indeed. So we do have something to play for. Money. As much money as we can possibly get, if possible. So yeah, that's where things stand at the moment. We came into this off the back of a couple of wins. So we won 4 of our last 5 games, which is, you know, pretty decent going. Somewhat worryingly, we did win against Dynamo Dresden 5-0 after I lost my voice. And that means I might just have to shut up for the rest of the stream, because that's evidently the thing that we were missing. Yes, it took us until the second half, and we kind of blew them away once we took the lead. But you know, that's not to worry. We should now consider this to be the standard, and every game from here on in is a guaranteed 5-0. So I did play a friendly, as you can see, because we had an international break. It was primarily our reserve players that played, just trying to get them some fitness. And if we take a look at the tactics screen here, you can see that it made absolutely bugger all difference in terms of their fitness. So there we go. Yeah, but that does mean our squad is picked, and we are ready to go into the game against 6th place Paderborn, away from home. I'm actually going to drop down to balanced mentality to start. Maybe just try and keep things nice and tight at the beginning and see how they go. So TM Basis would like us to put 10 past Celtic tonight, cheers. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice. Just absolutely rout them. So Lewis says, think that was bad. Imagine sitting through the Burnley Leeds game while getting rained on. Definitely couldn't be me. That does seem pretty rough. That seems really damn rough. That Burnley, that game was almost like they saw the Man United game and said, we need to be worse somehow. It was not pretty. Right, we'll go with the media stuff. People have reacted well, so let's just pick on the guys that haven't. And they still haven't reacted. We can head straight into the game. This will be good. Right, so right. Let's see. I do apologise. New Man United game is a good advert for the game, says MustermannFM. At least not one from the last 5 years or so. There have been some good United games, to be fair, MustermannFM. Like, maybe not for United fans, but there's definitely been some good games from a neutral perspective. Right, Asta picks up an early yellow card. We'll get him to ease off tackles. Hungdaman says, going to speed run the promotion this season. That's the plan. Mr. Grizzly P says, you do get burnout from watching football from time to time. Absolutely. And I think it's like with any hobby, it's always worth trying to balance your consumption so that it stays fresh. And if you're starting to get to a point where you're feeling a little bit crappy watching, stop. I'm not feeling crappy though watching Oscar Wilhelmsson with the turn and the goal. Boom. The team will love the goals we drop to be part of the wave. Darmstadt winning under Mika Aritalo. It's a lovely turn from Wilhelmsson. And then, 12 yards out, he's not missing that. Actually, he has missed a lot of chances that are easier than that, so I'll be careful with that regard. So, Joe K over on YouTube says, I've really started playing FM again after a while and really enjoying it. I stumbled upon talk that only a couple attributes actually matter. Please rubbish this for me. So, Joe, it's a computer game. A computer game will always have optimal ways of playing. There will always be something that is, by reflection, the meta. And if you look to maximize certain attributes, you can certainly find a situation where players that aren't fully rounded can perform better than expected. That said, if you go and check out my I created the best team in FM video where we looked at data, you will notice that the assumption that pace and acceleration are all that matter might not necessarily be true. The players who score the most goals aren't the fastest players. The players who create the most chances aren't the fastest players. If you play Football Manager as it's intended to be played, like just normally, you'll be fine. You will be absolutely fine. Okay, that's not a bad first half. I say not bad. There's been barely any chances, but that's how we've kind of been set up so far this season, is to kind of grind out results. We're gonna win the league, says the Basis. We are. I mean, this will bring us to within 8 points. 8 points with 6 games remaining of third place. It is completely and utterly inconceivable that we can close down that gap, but we can believe it. We can believe that we've got a chance. So my favourite Worms quote was, "You'll always regret that." Worms gives me a flashback to a computer game I played. Right, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Worms is an amazing, amazing game. It's all about the sheep, though. It's all about the sheep. I'm not going to, for those that don't know the game Worms, I'm not going to give you any context other than I will quote MustermannFM in the correct voice, which would be to say, "You'll regret that," or something to that effect. That's going to be horrible and shrill for those of you listening on headphones. I do apologise. Right, we've managed to clear the danger, but it does appear that Paderborn still have possession. Twite plays it over to the right wing. Ludwig sends the cross into the far post. Machino is there, and that's 1-1. Shuto Messino with his 13th goal of the season. Oh, that's a shame. We didn't keep it tight. It turns out we did not keep it tight. So Jonathan Edwards wants to know who said they wanted Arsenal to lose. I'm no grass, Jonathan. I'm no grass, I'm afraid. So Lewis, we have moved on from the... Well, I mean, so we were using a 4-4-2, which at times is like a 4-2-2-1-1. It's all still exactly the same thing, really. The players are still doing the same things in possession. We have a fullback that kind of stays deep. We have the left side that attacks. The inverted winger has moved up from there. The winger has moved from there. The shadow striker has just moved back into midfield. So realistically, we're kind of doing exactly the same, just from a slightly different shape. But let's react to the fact we've conceded. And we're going to... Didn't I change that to... Did I just change that now whilst we were here to positive? Well, no, I changed it for... Yeah, whatever. We're going to push the tempo up. Sard is looking tired, so on comes Forkall. I have faith in you. Let's change this round a little bit. Koratiba says that Burnley are the enemy they've always been. What do you dislike about Burnley, Koratiba? By Asta with a free kick. It's rubbish. There we go. It's RHCP Darmstadt, exactly, Night and Knee. Exactly. Like the Spurs 3, United 5 match from 2001 made Grizzly P a Spurs fan. Spurs versus United always has potential to be a cracker. That's fair. That was a crazy, crazy game. Although it does seem quite surprising that was the catalyst to become a Spurs fan. Was it out of like sympathy? Right, let's make our change. That's going to be Kubler on for the booked Asta. We're going to run the risk with Bookman. We're also going to look to bring on Muller. So Muller gets a little bit more game time, as does Scherveld. That allows Shabani to play the more attacking role that he's probably more used to. Let's drop that tempo down and actually move all the way up to attacking. Last 15 minutes or so. A draw away from home against the team in 6th is not a bad result, let's be fair. But can we do better? Not with a free kick like that, we can't. Right, here's Muller. Cross to Gimba. Not really too much urgency, but he's got a load of space. So Gimba's going. 36-year-old Benedict. Is he 36? I think he's old at least. Benedict Gimba going on a mazy little run. Shervold with a shot. And that's a little bit limp. A little bit limp, I'm afraid to say. So Knight of Knee prefers the Holy Hand Grenade. It's a fair choice. It is a fair choice. Space Puffin, welcome on in. How you doing? Johnny Trotter, fair enough. At least you know what you're getting yourself into. That's the comment about you love Spursiness. You wouldn't have it any other way. There's the explanation. So Crodmo says, I watched Jay Chihuahua's video where he built 2 teams, one with max acceleration, pace and jumping reach, one with the lowest possible of these stats. It's a very interesting watch. Yes, I mean, like, it's a game, so if you have you can pick out optimal attributes, but you're never going to naturally get a team like that. Like, if you had a team like that in real life, they probably do quite well. I mean, there are countless examples of players who are really good physically, but not very good technically, going on to have very good careers. As a Villa fan, I mean, I've seen Gabby Egbon-Lahore get England caps. I've also seen players who are very good technically, but lacking in physicals, struggle to make it to the top levels. Players like Barry Bannon has a phenomenal passing range, great technique, but couldn't keep up with play. And that ultimately is probably what led to him not carving it out even at a bottom level Premier League side. But when you start going to those extremes, they're just not things you see enough of to really build a game around that idea, if that makes sense. That was a really shit game. 8 shots. But we got a draw. A draw was not a bad result. We're certainly not fluid by any stretch of the imagination right now. Right, so was the conclusion obvious? The slow small players will do crap. Sorry, more context. He gave them perfect other stats for the position they played to. The slow ones ended up in Vanarama South, winning a whole 2 games in 3 seasons, which isn't a surprise. Really isn't. If I'm the second to every single ball, I'm gonna lose. If every member of my team is second to the ball, they're going to lose. So as you said, Cromwell, Theo Walcott, superb pace, acceleration, shocking everything else, and had a phenomenal career off the back of it. Me seeing that means I've also seen we've got a little bit of Traction FM in. Welcome in, my man. How are you? I hope you are doing well. So the Holy Hand Grenade was the favourite one in Worms, but I'm expected to be partial to. Oh, sorry. You should be. Knight of Knee should be partial to the Holy Hand Grenade. Of course, it comes with the territory of being called Knight of Knee. Thou shalt count. 1, 2, 4. No, 5. And so on. I don't do quotes. I'm not very good at quotes. So there we go. Quadmo fan was a fan of the Grimy Bomb. A fine choice. A fine choice indeed. Yeah, that result was kind of fine. We want to rest these guys. Why can't I rest these guys? Because I'm using the wrong thing. There we go. Rest up, and then a game against Arminia Bielefeld, who are right down bottom. Finally, a chance for us to see how we get on against the team that we should actually be beating. We've played a lot of teams above us so far, and we did have a problem with Mariehamn against teams that we should be better than. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's what a theme that comes through again. So let's see. Right, so Hungermin reckons that Wilhelmsen is perfect for Arsenal. He's very clinical. I mean, it's a great finish. He's not actually been that clinical for us. So 15 goals from 14.85 XG. So he's kind of doing around expected. He's missed some absolute sitters for us. Things that you know, if we had someone else backing him up, he probably would have been out the door. Let's be honest. Ellis Sims does have that chance to win the job, but unfortunately picked up an injury prior to that game, which is why I wasn't on the bench. So welcome on in, by the way, Bish Miller. Lovely to see you, my dude. Thank you very much for the follow. Same questions I kind of ask everyone. If you're comfortable chatting, where are you from? Who do you support? Who are you playing with in FM? It'd be lovely to hear from you. But there's absolutely no obligation whatsoever. So Holofab says, Vitesse have been bought by 2 Americans, 2 Germans, and an Italian. What can go wrong? You finally know who these people are now, or have you only been told the nationalities? Oh, top talent. That's, you know, it doesn't say elite, but potentially 3.5 stars isn't the worst in the world. Atlas Usta, a Turkish pressing forward, who's got good flair, aggression, determination. Well, elite flair, aggression, determination. He's good pace, fitness, agility, work rate, bravery, decisions. Below average off the ball and finishing. Right, surely, looking at this to start off with, good passing, technique, vision, flair. He's not particularly strong or good in the air. He's not particularly quick. This man looks like a playmaker rather than a forward to me. 5'7". I think he is. Let's in fact. So do we do him from the? Yeah, let's. He's currently. Oh, that's, yeah, we're not controlling training yet. We're going to leave training until the off season. But I like the look of him. We can probably ignore all the good talents for now. Kyriakos Papadopoulos is a 3-star potential, a right winger who has some acceleration and pace. There we go. That might be enough. He doesn't know how to move. He can't move for very long either. Yeah. We'll see what happens down the line. So Rich Sun says that he's not surprised at all, but if you make players extreme at the wrong end of the spectrum, that'll happen. Exactly. So DM basically says if you're going to try and break the game, you're going to find stuff like that. It's not going to occur naturally. It's a tricky part, I expect, to developing a game like this as well, because you've got to develop it around the making all the AI teams as balanced as possible. You've got to build it around the idea of normal players in a very, very balanced system. And that's getting an AI that is intelligent and able to react properly is an exceptionally hard thing to do to begin with. But being able to then build a game to not find extreme outcomes when you input extreme inputs, I imagine would be very, very close to impossible, if not completely impossible. Right, there we go. You guys can do the honours there. And we can have a look at them a little bit down the line once they've had a chance to develop. So John Tross says, it sounds like the start of a joke. 2 Americans, 2 Germans, and an Italian walk into a Dutch football club. What's the punchline though? You don't need to bother with the setup. Just you've got the start. Ignore the middle. What do you think the punchline would be? Seb reckons Barry Bannon would have thrived in La Liga. Bro was born in the wrong country. I think that is a fair assessment. I think that there is the other element that if he was in La Liga, he would be there amongst a lot of other players with a very similar skill set as well. So he wouldn't maybe have stood out quite as much. I do apologise. I am trying to catch up. So traction's not too bad. Another miserable day of work over. I need retirement. Evening chat. I mean, it's another miserable day of work over, which means that there's only 2 days left until the weekend. So you're now past the halfway point for the week. Is that going to make tomorrow a better work day or Friday? Maybe not, but it does mean fewer work days until you get a day off and a chance to rest. Hopefully. Stelios, by the way, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. If you're comfortable chatting, let us know where you're from, who you support, who you're playing with in FM. I'm guessing, Stelios, you might be from Greece. So do let me know if I'm right. Obviously, no obligation to chat if you don't want to. Right, into the next game. Ellis Sims is back. We are going to put Arnold in. And we're going to run with the same thing. But we're going to go attacking from the off and high tempo from the off. We are at home. This is a team that we should be looking to put on the back foot. At least that's the theory. Right, so Jonathan Evans says, did you watch the video on Gabi Agbonlahor on how training his shooting made him a worse player and the fact he previously scuffed his shots made them harder to save? I did not watch that video, Jonathan Edwards, but it is something I have talked about. I've often made the argument that Gabi trying to improve kind of removed an element of the chaos because he started to strike the ball cleaner. And the difference from going from being bad at shooting to being kind of okay and therefore more predictable made him a worse player. Right, we should be winning this comfortably. Let's point some fingers. Let's tell them that I expect you to perform well. And let's see none of the players react whatsoever. So Bish Miller asks, will you be cooked if you say you're a Man United fan? Not at all. You might be laughed at, but you won't be cooked. So you do know the name. Holifab Vitesse do now know the names of their owners. Dane Murphy, Flint Riley, Timo Rasch, Leon Muller, and Brian Mornaghi. Never heard of any of them. I mean, that might be a good thing, isn't it, to have not heard of them? Because at least that way you know that they're not like famously scum. They might be scum, but they're not scum to a degree that has got notice worldwide. Right, Asta has picked up a booking really, really early once again. Muller with a shot. It's an easy save for Xiao Jiang there. Right, so at least you're not suffering alone, says Bish Miller. Indeed, traction is in. We've got a reasonable number, and that's a red card. We've got a reasonable number of United fans in and around the chat. Oh, that's an issue. Right, Top Rasmussen will come on. And I think it's going to be Oliver Cooper who makes way. So go with something like that. So we are now very much in a 4-4-2. We might ping back the wingers in a moment. We'll just see how things go in terms of momentum. Yeah, that's not encouraging. Let's go on to balanced. Drop these guys back. Put you on attack because you're going to pretty much be on your own. So you might as well just try and do things on your own. And let's have you step into the midfield a little bit more so that when we do have the ball, we've got a little bit more presence in the middle there. Let's see. Gregory should have been the player we bought off because now he's injured. We'll have to make that substitution at half time or else we'd have used up two of our stoppages already. So Coritiba suggests that Mark Albrighton would be world class as a traditional winger in the 90s. Absolutely. I mean, he had a solid career, thankfully for him. But yes, very much feels like a throwback. Right, so our plan to see what it would be like if we go on the front foot definitely hasn't worked out. I'm right. Yep, let's just make all the changes. All the changes. Shervold in. Muller to drop deep. Gregorik is out for Forkel. We'll put Sard on the right-hand side there. Yeah, let's see how we get on. Let's see how we get on. It's a dim basis of Thursday's the worst day of the week, without doubt. I'm with you on that one, because it almost feels like the end of the week, and it lures you into a false sense of security. A bit like how us trying to pass out from the back there lured us into a false sense of security that we might know how to maintain possession. We concede a corner. We conceded within like 2 minutes of the second half in the last game. Are we about to see that happen again? Forkel gets there first. The ball, it's a penalty. There we go. There we go. Oh, I'm so glad. I am so glad that the last stream had to end whilst we were in good form, because I lost my voice. Because this stream is starting in fine fettle indeed. So Stelios is here because you love the Pauk series. You seem like an interesting person. I'm delighted to hear that you enjoyed the Pauk series. Thank you very much. Interesting? No, I'm not very interesting, but I do talk a lot, so that will do. And we're 1-0 down. We're on 10 men. It's a red card. It's a penalty. This is not going well. Oh dear. Oh dear. The draw against Paderborn felt like we had some things going our way, but now here comes Cockfeed. Shrek. They've got a striker called Shrek. How have I not noticed they've got a striker called Shrek? I'm going to keep on saying the word Shrek over and over again. That's an amazing name. Right, Hein with the throw. We've only got one substitution left because we brought off all the booked players, and if that's going to be disallowed, then I am calling corruption. I'm calling corruption on a scale that is unbelievable. It hasn't been disallowed. Stand, scoring like no tomorrow. Stand, the goals are here. So was it tight? Was it tight? It was not tight. What did VAR? I mean, surely that VAR review should have taken all of about 1 second. That was so clearly onside. Absolutely nothing to worry about there. But can Bielefeld come on, score straight away? There we go. Oh, that is incredible. That is incredible. Within mere seconds, this second half has gone a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. Right. Beautifully timed pass. No doubts about him being onside there. It's a lovely finish right across the keeper. Just a reminder, Arminia Bielefeld are bottom of the league. Very much bottom of the league. Again, VAR getting involved completely and utterly unnecessarily. So what do we do to... Okay, this second half has been a great departure from what we saw in the first half, with very little chances happening at all, just the red card really, and then 3 goals inside the opening 10 minutes. What can Shrek do here? He plays it back and the moment goes. Right, on the hour mark, I kind of want to save that last substitution, but I think we are now going, let's protect the middle here, right, we are staying as narrow as we possibly can. Although you will be told to stay wider. Sarge, yellow card. Ease off tackles, my man. Ease off tackles. We're going up to positive. We've got the tempo high. We will shoot on sight. Let's get those. We'll hit early crosses as well. Let's get the ball forwards. Let's shoot on sight. Let's not focus down the flanks. Let's not play out of defence either. And we can, like, even if we've not got the right numbers for it, let's roll it out and then just send it a little bit more direct. And let's see how we get on in these last half an hour or so. So my plans to not make major tweaks to the tactic kind of gone out the window in this game once we went down to 10 men, which is kind of understandable. We're not going to learn anything from the 4-3-3 when we don't have the players. Here's Hein. There we go. Wilhelmsen. Boom. Darmstadt scoring. Aradalo's glowing. Nick has got us going. There we go. 2-2. This game is ridiculous. 20 minutes into the second half. The keeper should have done better there. I mean, it is nice to see a keeper do something when it comes to a low cross, but it fell straight to the path of Wilhelmsen, and that is 2-2. Momentum now seems to be shifting in our favour. Hein sends it in. Sarge can pick up the loose ball. What can Saad do here? He goes back to Muller, across to Hein. Hein is in space. That shot is pretty damn embarrassing. There we go. Into the last 10 minutes or so, I can make that final substitution, I reckon. And it's going to be Saad coming off. Now, if Saad's coming off, I think we're going to bring Sims on. We can take ease off, tackles off. We're going to put Wilhelmsen in that. He can play from behind the play. In fact, we're going to put Wilhelmsen over on this side because he's left-footed. And we're going to make Shervild just a ball-winning midfielder. So I don't want him trying to attack the same space as Wilhelmsen if we can avoid it. He is tired. Let's see how we go on there. So Jonathan asks, Watkins to Arsenal, what do you make of the rumour and do you think he'll fit in? I think that Arsenal have been linked with Watkins for a number of years. Arsenal quite famously weren't able to sign Dougie Luiz last season because they left their bid. That's a good chance there for Bielefeld, by the way. They left their bid till like the last couple of days of the window. And Villa turned around and said, oi, that's cheeky, bugger off. I don't think going down the same route this time round is going to improve your chances of signing him. So I have a feeling now that that bid has probably closed out any opportunity you had of signing him, even if there was one like bid a week ago. Quite probably, you'd be able to work something out. I might turn out to be wrong here. But yeah, so I think the question of whether he will fit you or not, I don't think we'll find out. 2-2, down to 10 men. We got to take that as a decent result, given the situation. I don't like Watkins' movement. I think he's very selfish. He closes off gaps for teammates. I think he'll score goals for you. I think he'll make you worse. Genuinely. If you were a little bit more transitional, there's a little bit more space in front, I think that would be all right. Right. Justified. He's going to get a week's wages docked. Hey, we just paid Bayern Munich for that red card. Right. Next game is against Eintracht Braunschweig, who are also struggling. We'll see if we can get slightly better performance from the next game. Not necessarily feeling confident on that side, especially with no right back and missing our starting centre back as well. So Dean Baser says Wednesday's the hump day. That way you know Friday is near. Thursday was neither the middle of the week nor is it Friday. It's the horrible imposter of a day. Exactly. Senil says you approached the Greek really pretty accurately on those series. Fabulous. Good to know. So FM is doing FM things. It really was, wasn't it? It really was. Crodmo describes Thursday as being that period of year between the 26th and 31st of December. That's fair, I think. So a fire has broken out directly outside the Etihad tonight. It was a merchandise stand, so nothing is lost. Oh, that's quite crazy. Yeah, hope no one is hurt. On another note, a symbol of City's fortunes and future. Potentially. Adam is in. Welcome in, Adam. How are you doing, sir? How are you this fine Wednesday evening? We should be allowed to commute, but I think that you should be allowed to pick 1 out of 3 games when a player is suspended for totting up. So of the next 3 games, he has to serve his suspension, but you get to choose which one. Because totting up's a ridiculous suspension. And it's not because we're also missing Bookman for the next game or 2. So Joe says, thanks for the explanation. Apologies. I also felt like I opened a can of worms in chat. He said worms again. You said worms. Oh no, it's going to happen again. No, not at all. That's there is, if you want to play Football Manager, you can easily ignore the things that are broken because those situations will never come up normally. They will never come up normally for you or for the AI, and you can play the game without it impacting your enjoyment quite easily, I reckon. It's the response you were hoping for. Thank God. So what a name for Eintracht Braunschweig, indeed. As if Bayern needed that Bookman money. I mean, yeah, clearly not. I mean, well, what even was it? It was 130,000 euros. That's just taking money for the sake of it. Like, that's not going to move the needle whatsoever. So it looks like the previous manager did sign him for 500,000. So potential cost including add-ons. So there is another 130,000 that could go their way. I'm guessing based on more games or international appearances somewhere down the line. So Adam's doing good. Snacking on stale cereal. Interesting choice. Interesting choice. How's the throat holding up? So far, okay. I can hear and feel a little bit of the gravel there. More than normal. Let's be honest. My voice is generally speaking on the gravelly side. Anyway, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're an hour in. It hasn't abandoned me completely. So yeah, we'll hopefully it's all good. So Night Omni wants me to ask you about Loom, Adam. I mean, I'm guessing that in the time since Sunday and today, you haven't played Monkey Island yet. So we need to sort that out so that you can understand the Loom joke. In fact, maybe that's when we finish the... Oh, he's out. He's suspended anyway. That doesn't matter. Maybe when the Civilization save has finished, the next could be going back and playing some old Monkey Island, because like it's a game I love and cherish, but I haven't played it for a very long time. It'd be interesting to know how many of the solutions I remember. I remember the one in Monkey Island 2 about Monkey Wrench. I remember poisoning some dogs in Monkey Island 1. And considering I spoke about kicking puppies on the other stream, maybe that's a bad idea, because people will start to think that there's actually something going on there, something more untoward. Right, that's the end of his career. Lucas Kubler was retiring in the summer. He's now damaged his cruciate ligaments for 7 to 8 months. That also means that our backup right back isn't going to be available for the next game. So, yeah, I mean, he was already retiring, so yes, that has ended his career. Shabani is going to be out as well. Interesting. We are dropping like flies. So that's be Top Rasmussen in. That's going to be Tyrone Dua at right back, I guess. If I swap these around, is that any better? Not really. Shabani will just about be okay for the bench. Massimo comes on. Braunschweiger does as well. What we learnt from the last game as well is I think I'm going to take that off. Still insistent there. We are going to add counter back on. Wilhelmsen as a target forward on attack. Yeah, we'll run with that for the next game. Sherville can play right back. There we go. That means we've only got a couple of players that aren't fit in the lineup. Shabani. Yeah, going well. Going well indeed. Brazilian Fury is in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you? What marvellous news in the Tamar save. Fabulous stuff. I suppose the important question is, how did you get on in Europe as well? I'd love to know. RJ's here as well. Hello RJ. Lovely to see you, my dude. Camp Sparkley's in. Welcome in. Do I think City is making it to the next round today? Well, that's kind of my my question to you guys. Is who do you think will fall in the Champions League? I think that City might fail. They might fail. I mean, it's a reasonable assertion to think that they're going to fall short, because they do require results to go their way elsewhere as well, and their performance themselves hasn't been that great either. So yeah, we'll see. Adam says he didn't realise the cereal was stale until it was too late. Fair enough. By the way, thank you, Johnny, for the hydrate. So RJ, are we winning? No, we're not. We've drawn both games so far tonight. The unfortunate situation that we had to cut the last stream short early whilst we're in our winning ways, it's come to bite us. It's come to bite us quite hard from the looks of things. So a good draw away from home against Paderborn in what was possibly one of the worst games ever. Just 4 shots for either side. And then a 2-2 draw at home against bottom-placed Arminia Bielefeld. We had a player sent off, then conceded a penalty. Then they scored immediately after we equalised. Definitely not our finest performance, that's for sure. Definitely not our finest performance. And so we're just teetering around in the middle of the pack. 5 games remaining. We are 14 points above the last relegation playoff spot. So it would take one hell of a collapse here for us to be in any danger. And we are ultimately learning about whether any of our players are good enough. I think Wilhelmsen scoring goals, that's good. Sims has been okay in the limited minutes he's had. Elias Saad has had some games where he's scored, and that's been good. Everything else, kind of meh. Gimba's been okay. He did have a really bad game in the last stream, but not had the errors coming from him this time. Other than that, I think the rest of the team might be going. They're all rubbish. Or, which, if every player is rubbish, that probably means that the tactic is rubbish. But, you know, no element of personal responsibility going on. Yeah, it's all their fault. Definitely not my fault. So Jim Baser says, "Bugger me, everyone is turning up now." They are indeed. We also have an FMGNG in. Welcome on in, FMGNG. How are you doing, my dude? And we have a Lookmar No Pants. Welcome in. He says, the voice is back. Don't know if I like the change or not. Well, it has to be said, since I've been talking again, we haven't won a game. So there we go. So I did suggest maybe we could play Monkey Island. I see Crodmope has mentioned the Discworld games too. A very fine choice. As voiced by a, at the time, relatively unknown Rob Brydon. So I quite enjoyed the first one. I didn't gel quite as well with Discworld Noir. But again, like Monkey Island, games I haven't played for a very long time. So remembering like the solutions, not necessarily it's not like a case of I'll play it and we just walk through and it's a piece of piss. So there should be some challenge. That could be a nice suggestion. I don't know if you were ever familiar with Simon the Sorcerer, which was voiced by Chris Barry. Which that's a game that I don't think I've ever even completed, if I remember correctly. But I'm also not sure if there'll be a PC version. I know that it was an Amiga game. I haven't really looked into Amiga emulation though, because that's like a whole extra like 2 or 3 steps to running DOSBox. But that could be something. So Night of Nice reckons that could be a nice stream as well. That's cool. Something we could possibly do. Right, so Brazilian Fury got to the quarterfinals, lost to Rennes, 95th minute goal from them in the second leg to eliminate you. That's a little bit rubbish. Oh well. But you did win the Allianz Cup, so we did do a double at least. I mean, you won the league. That's the main thing. That was like the big goal, really, wasn't it? So we've got to be pretty happy with that. Right. Our player has been recalled because we didn't talk to their manager. I didn't know that he could be recalled outside of the transfer window. I thought we were safe. Right. Yeah, we'll put Torciello on the bench instead. We've got a slightly more aggressive approach to this tactic, hopefully. Let's see how we do. So the scum of Rennes, I hate them, says Hollyfab. They were your bogey team in France. That's some very strong feelings towards Rennes there. Some very strong feelings towards them. And now, right, okay. So, RJ has just redeemed a mystery minigame, which is marvellous because that tells me to look over at my little ad manager thing that says that ads are coming up very soon. So rather than play the game, let's have the ads. We'll come back, we'll play a little mystery minigame. Thank you very much, RJ. And then we will face off against Braunschweig. So I guess I will see you guys in about 3-4 minutes. Right, we are back. And now that we've had a little bit of time to warm up, let's play a little round of top 10. Now, I have seen that there are a couple of comments in chat. So, look, Mar, I will get back to that after we've played the game. Quad My Fan, you said that Eric Idle voiced Rincewind. You're correct. Rob Brydon was the narrator. That's the one I was thinking of. So, perfect. Let's explain how top 10 works. In a few moments, I'm going to reveal the criteria for this week's game. Your job is to guess which players make up the top 10 that match that criteria. Just chuck it in chat. Spelling does need to be correct, but it doesn't need to be case sensitive. So you can do all uppercase, all lowercase, and mix however you like. If a player has an accent in their name, you can include it, or you don't need to include it. It will still be picked up. If a player shares a surname with someone else on the list, you do need to write their full name. So, for example, the very first one of these we did was top caps for Denmark, and both Peter Schmeichel and Kasper Schmeichel were in that list. So you would have had to write Peter Schmeichel or Kasper Schmeichel to get it correct. Someone like Christian Eriksen, however, was the only Eriksen in the list, so just Eriksen would suffice. Okay, so here goes. We will reveal this week's suggestion, and it is the winners of the 94-95 Premier League Player of the Month Awards. There were exactly 10 winners, so 1 to 10 will be in the order that they won it. It's not necessarily a highest thing. So in come the guesses straight away. Mr. Grizzly P, it is tenable indeed. It is indeed. Top 10 Polish players would definitely be fun. Johnny Trotter, naturally though, it would definitely win that one. Blaszczykowski spelt beautifully well. So we've got some guesses coming in. There is no Andy Cole, there is no Giggs, but there is an Alan Shearer. And someone that was Coritiba. Who got Sutton? Looks like Rich Sun got Sutton as well. They shared the Player of the Month award in November, interestingly. It's Quadmo Fan who picks up on Letitia. Fabulous guess there. But we don't sadly have a Sheringham, or a York, or a Keane, or a Fowler. Not even a Sean Dyke, sadly. There is no Dion Dublin either, I'm afraid. Who is it though? Someone's got Klinsmann. Is that DM Basis picks up Jurgen Klinsmann, the first ever winner of a Premier League Player of the Month award. 94-95 season was the first season they gave out the award. Jurgen Klinsmann was the very, very first winner of such award. Something to keep in mind, because I'm sure that will come up in if we end up doing some like more general knowledge kind of quizzes as well. Right, I'm going to carry on reading them in a second, but first I'm going to burp. And in the time it's taken me to burp, I can see we've got a whole load more correct guesses coming in. Paul Ince, Duncan Ferguson won a Player of the Month. Tony Yeboah, David Seaman, Chris Waddle. Absolutely fantastic. There is just one player left. No, there's not. There isn't one player left because Coritiba has come in right at the death there with Rob Lee. Everyone's favourite Premier League player, Rob Lee. Incredible stuff. So Lookmar went for David Seaman as a joke. I mean, Seaman often is a joke, but you know, it can be quite slippery. It finds its way in there. And it did. Right at number 10. He won the very last Player of the Month award in April for the 94-95 season. Some fabulous work there, guys. Incredible. I mean, I think like there are certainly some players that everyone is going to be familiar with. Your Letitiers, your Waddles. But Duncan Ferguson and Rob Lee in particular, very, very tricky ones. Fantastic work, guys. Right, let's head in and play a little bit of Braunschweig. We will... I'm going to say I want to be impressed. I want to be impressed. That involves not getting sent off straight away. That involves not giving away penalties if we can avoid it. And as we head into the game, I will get back to you, Lookmar. So you said that just saw that Emi Buendia is joining Leverkusen, the artist formerly known as Neverkusen, indeed. How do I feel about that? So I'm sad. I really like Emi Buendia. Towards the end of the season that Emery first took over, so Emery's first 6 months, Buendia had an absolutely fantastic time. He was at the heart of everything. He was really, really good job, like bridging that gap between midfield and attack. He works so hard. out of possession, he will chase and he will harass. He can be a little bit overzealous with his tackling at times, but he's just an all-round good egg. The injury last season was pretty horrendous. Really, real shame. He's only just kind of come back. He's not been able to get regular game time. So I hope for his sake that it works out. I believe there's a 20 million euro release clause, optional fee, even as Andreas Müller. There we go.
Team, we love the goals we drop to be part of the wave. Darmstadt winning under Mika Aritalo.
Right, we got off to a fast start. That's good work from Hein, creating the space to get the cross in. Andreas Müller gets forward, pokes his foot at it, and that's 1-0. That's more like what we want to see. So yeah, I believe there's a 20 million euro optional fee, so it's not mandatory. I'm obviously in two minds there, because I'd like him to play well enough that Leverkusen want to activate the fee, but maybe decide against it for some unknown reason. So yeah, we will see. A good player. I don't know if he's ever going to come back to the level where he once was. But yeah, all the best to him. All the best to him, I suppose. So in Germany, you mostly know him from international tournaments. That's fair. That's fair. So he's had a weird time of things, because when he was joined Norwich, he was brilliant in the Championship. They got promoted. He really struggled. Then they went back down to the Championship, and he was brilliant again. And then he was signed by Steven Gerrard, and everyone looked rubbish under Steven Gerrard. Even Oscar Wilhelmsson would look rubbish under Steven Gerrard. Now, did he stay on side, though? Did he stay on side? He didn't stay on side. Disappointing. Yeah, everyone looked rubbish under Steven Gerrard. So I think there are a few people who were suggesting that he was going to be one of those players that would never be able to make up the leap up to the Premier League. But under Emery, he was released. He looked really, really good. So someone's remembering. So Mr. Grizzly P says Tony Yeboah was a bangers only OG. Tony Yeboah was fantastic for like his spell in Germany before moving to Leeds as well. Like super prolific. And then after leaving Leeds, it just kind of all went downhill. He used to round the keeper and still blast it at full force. Absolutely. But those banger goals as well, those are so memorable. Hey, Assad, that's not necessarily what you call a memorable goal, but it is a goal.
Scoring like no tomorrow, dumb stand, the goals are here.
Right, this time is good work down the right from Gregoric. Wilhelmsson lets it run. Sard, when Sard scores, we generally do play well. He plays well when he scores. It's like he's a confidence player. We need a goal early on. And we haven't been necessarily particularly dominant, though. So a third goal before half-time would be nice, because I don't like a 2-0 lead. You know that about me. So Gregoric to Sard. Sard plays it back to Gregoric. Good save by Hoffman. Good save. So RJ is saying, when I'm sad, I play well. They're beautiful. I'm generally speaking, when I'm sad, I play badly. I go on tilt very, very easily. Right, yeah, we do not like playing in games that have lots of chances. We will be defensively solid. And that's going to be well, not that defensively solid if we judge by the last game. Right, Gimba, we need to tell him to ease off tackles. We really could do without another red card, but I'm not that desperate that I want to bring on Dua. We will drop down to balanced. We'll start to play a little bit wider just to try and hopefully tire them out a little bit. Sherville's, I do want to look at Sherville's like stats at the end of the game, like his proper detailed stats, because he's got a good rating as a right back. Maybe that could be something we look to make use of a little bit more. So Lukmar says, maybe RJ is a musician. Sadness makes great artists, I hear. That is true. I mean, he could be any kind of artist, to be honest. Like I'm not much of a art man. I don't know much about art, but are there any like famous Belgian like painters? I feel like there are some like I assume that people like Magritte were like French, but they could be Belgian. RJ claims to be the least creative musician ever. Then, so he's not a musician. But there's many other kinds of art out there. Art like maths. Maths is an art, right? I mean, some maths feels like an art. They're making up all these crazy letters to mean numbers. Nonsense. You have to have a certain degree of creativity to come up with that. I mean, lies. It's not even lies. It's just lies. Right, here's Muller. Finds Gergerek. Gergerek shoots from the angle, pushed over by Hoffman. Wasn't Poirot a Belgian painter? Or am I thinking of Tintin? Well, I suppose actually, yeah, you could go for like, it was Hergé, wasn't it? Hergé did Tintin. That is a form of art. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but I used to be in a band with a guitarist called Tim and with a drummer called Tim. And so we called ourselves Hergé's Adventures of Tim. As Gomez looks to pull one back for Braunschweig. So Magritte was Belgian, has that painting with a pear on a man's face. I genuinely thought Magritte was French. I was just using, I literally chose him as the example of someone that I thought was French, but maybe French could be Belgian, not because I thought he was actually Belgian. There we go. Right, Noel Atom, splitting the atom to make it 2-1. Right, so Night of Knee says Magritte was Belgium. So was the very much earlier Jan van Eyck. There we go. Bruegel, the two of them were Belgian artists. Lots of Belgian artists out there. For such a small country as well. Right, Gregoric once again denied by Hoffman. I think we're going to look to step things up a little bit in the second half. We dropped the mentality. We tried to see things out a little bit, but maybe we need to get that third goal. Fröder to Schovold. Schovold sends it aiming for Sard, gets cut out, but here's Muller. He just gets tackled. And that's a chance for Braunschweig to clear, and that should be the end of that highlight. It is. Right, 64th minute. Let's go back to what we were doing in the first half. And I haven't seen Cooper's mentioned really at all. So let's bring on Shabani. Gergerek is having a good game. So Gergerek definitely stays on the pitch. Sard has been the target for things, but hasn't necessarily done much creating himself. Here's Bassi. Bassi, is that another penalty? Is that another? Oh my word. Oh my word. Yeah, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. Right, it's a penalty for Braunschweig. Up steps Gomez. We haven't saved a penalty since our second season, I think. I think we had that spell where Riekinen saved 4 penalties out of 6. And I don't think we've saved a penalty in the 3 seasons since. That's not going to change now. That's not going to change now. Joe Gomez? That's not Joe Gomez. Jose Gomez makes it 2-2, and the comeback is on for Braunschweig. Alright, Wilhelmsen hasn't done anything. On comes Sims. Top Rasmussen is booked now. You can ease off tackles too. Let's get you stepping more into midfield. Let's bring on... So, as I said, Sard hasn't really done anything other than the goal. The goal is important. The goal is definitely important, but let's bring on Forkel. Let's see if we can maybe get a little bit of momentum our way. We've been very much under the cosh all this second half, and the changes haven't done anything there. I just pressed spacebar to pause so that I could make a change, but as soon as I press spacebar, up comes a highlight. And that is, should have been 3-2. Muller with a great last-ditch tackle. Right, Fröder off. On comes Butchbo into midfield. Muller's going to drop back there. We're going to bring Torsiello on. So let's drop that there. Take counter off. Let's try and get a little bit more control. For that control, I'm going to go with him as a Mazzala. No. I'm going to go double box-to-box midfielder. We are now We are now trying to essentially hold on to the draw. Hold on to the draw against 16th place Braunschweig after drawing at home to bottom place Bielefeld. This is not the stream I was hoping for. Not the stream I was hoping for whatsoever. Oh dear. So French people stealing more Belgian things like fries. Absolutely. So French artists with an M like Matisse, Monet, Manet, perfectly good examples. David Ruggiero says, is this an upgraded skin since about 6 months ago or a different one altogether? So this is one that is specifically built around the fact that I'm playing at 1600 by 900 on stream. There are no updates to the skin. I have retired from skinning publicly, David, now from now on, I'm afraid. Patreons do get access to everything I create, so they do get access to this. It does only work at 1600 by 900 resolution. It doesn't come with any further support. So if you have a different resolution monitor and you want me to then make changes to it, that won't happen. So just to be clear, you can get hold of it, but it's not publicly released. So Johnny Trotter says, we draw some. We are holding on. There was a good chance at the end there. But so there have been two for Braunschweig here. But can Hein do something in the last moment? His cross is low, cut out by Donker. Here's Forkel, plays it back to Müller. And that is surely the end of it. No, Forkel into Sims. The flag is up. The flag is up. Was Forkel offside? I think he was. They've not got their hands up. Oh. It's tight, but Forkel is just off. That would have been a beautiful moment. Robbed at the death there. Right, Johan Gomez's penalty. That is another 2-2 draw. And I am not happy with you guys. I'm just, quite frankly, I'm not happy. So let's have a look here. Get stuck in is off. I mean, it didn't make any difference. When we turned get stuck in off last time, it made no difference. We have no Gimba. Gimba is now suspended for the next game. I assume that Bookman should be back. That's okay. A home game against Kaiserslautern. It's another draw. 3 games, 3 draws. We've got 4 games remaining. Can we win a game? We sit in 11th now. We are mathematically safe. Right, so other famous French ones would be Cézanne, Degas, Delacroix, Gauguin, Surat. And let's not forget one of his favourite jokes. What do you think of Toulouse-Lautrec? 2-0. I don't get that joke, Knight. I don't get it. I'm sorry. What do you think of Toulouse-Lautrec? 2-0. Oh, wait. So I'm guessing Toulouse-Lautrec is an artist, but it sounds like a football fixture. Is that what it is? See, I'm a Philistine when it comes to the world of painting and draw. And I mean, what's the term to distinguish art from other arts like music and so forth? Yeah, my knowledge of art is pretty much non-existent. So the VAR guys had money on the draw. It does seem that way. Look, Masters, never again say you aren't an artist with all the drawing you do. I am not an artist. I am a man who badly traces things in software that isn't designed for it. Right, so injury to Wilhelmsen now. We did check this on the last stream, but we took over in December. You telling me that the human player doesn't get worse injuries than the AI? That's mean. That is mean. Compare it to the AI. How dare? It is confirmation. Just to be clear, it is very much confirmation bias. I am playing it up. So there we go. David Cooters in Germany now, says Hung Min. I'm still not going to. I'm not going to attack David Coot. I think if anything, we've had more controversies about referees, and then we've had other leagues asking for English referees to come over because they're unhappy with their referees. Everyone hates referees because it's an exceptionally difficult job. Daniel Guerrero says the momentum tab is called analysis, I think, on the skin I have. Yes, so David, on this version, because I've got people watching on their devices, I've split out the analysis tab to be all the different sections of analysis so that it's really, really big. Because when you're watching at home or on your mobile or whatever, it would be a bit too difficult to see. But when you're sat in front of your computer, having those split up into separate sections isn't much of an issue because you can see it a lot more clearly. So yeah, that for example is something that is very, very much specifically there for the sake of the stream. The details at the bottom, the player bar, that is something that is kind of okay, kind of fun. It looks really, really, really bad at other resolutions, and the amount of statistics that are available to put there are unfortunately a little bit limited. I was trying to, I can't remember what stat it was. I was speaking to Adam, in fact. That it was really weird that certain stats that you could bring through at that section just weren't available. Just weren't available at all. Right, I did say that I wanted to see why our boy was getting decent ratings as a right back. So Chevrold, 4 unsuccessful passes out of 37. Good, decent pass success rate. Mainly passing backwards from the looks of things. Could do with being a bit more enterprising there. Didn't attempt any crosses. Lost 75% of his headers, none in critical areas. Won a lot of tackles, 6 tackles out there. 3 clearances, 2 of them in quite critical areas in the box. Didn't concede any fouls. Made 4 interceptions, 1 that could be considered reasonably critical there as well. So overall, yeah, just those few errant passes, really. Only gained possession 9 times, lost possession 7. He was solid. I mean, he was essentially, he got a good rating for just being good enough, I think would be fair. So Thomas Lind asks, how would it work on another ultra wide, like 34 by 1440? So in terms of like the skin in general, the one that is publicly available, the skin is designed to have blank space. So it will look like, in an ultra wide, it will look like this, but it will have more blank space at the sides in a lot of places. In terms of, does it scale up so that it's really big for an ultra wide? No, it doesn't. Very, very specifically, the design ethos is that if anything is important enough to be on display on, say, a profile page or an overview page, it needs to be able to fit at a lower resolution. If it's not important enough to fit on a lower resolution, it's not important enough to fit on a higher resolution. And therefore, everything is very much just high-level overview. We don't then fill out stuff for the sake of filling out space. Because I'm a weird person that doesn't like having too much information on screen. So my monitor is actually 2560 by 1440. That's what I play on when I'm not on stream. And it is very much built around what is about the right amount of information for my eyes. Which can be, I appreciate, a little bit too little for some. Right, into the next game. Surely a nice, easy home game against Karlsruhe. Kaiserslautern are down to 14th. Kaiserslautern were like 4th when we took over. Where's game 13? Yeah, they were in 4th, and I mean, that's how tight the league is, to be fair. They now expect us to win. That's a surprise. That is a surprise. Right, so RJ is currently thinking that he'd bet money on the draw at the moment. That is fair. That is fair. Seb says get stuck in is one of those instructions that is permanently on for you no matter what. I would very much be, I like get stuck in because players tend to be quite passive defensively without it. They let players run past them far too easily. But it can be very, very risky because not just do you have the opportunity to pick up a lot of cards, but we also know how effective set pieces are in this game, and you're essentially giving the opposition lots of opportunities to have set pieces, which isn't necessarily an ideal situation. Right. Okay, Wilhelmsen is good enough for the bench. Berda is injured, so that's going to be right. Shabani and Muller there. He is returning tomorrow. Asta comes back into the starting lineup so that I can have Shervold somewhere else. And yeah, let's go with that. Oliver Coop hasn't really done anything in the last couple of games. So let's go with a hydrate. Thank you very much, guys. All of you are redeeming hydrate. So much hydrate. Is that just the shut up button? So yeah, we'll go with that. Oh, God. Top Rasmussen and Bookman as our centre. Oh. Right, it's okay. I don't think we're going to draw this game. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we are not going to draw this game. That either means we're going to win 5-0 or lose 5-0. So we will... The fans expect to win. Play well, play well, play well. Someone react. Elias Sard reacted. Brian Hine reacted. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Come on, Darmstadt. Toulouse-Lautrec was a painter, but sounds like a match. Yep, perfect. I got there in the end. I didn't get your joke, Lukmar. I didn't get your joke. I do apologise. You'll have to go back to the drawing board, I guess. But there we go. Never again say you aren't an artist with all the drawing you do because we draw the games. Okay, yep, there we go. There we go. I'm slow. I'm slow today. That is for sure. Right, so Hine, good chance right off the beginning. Off the beginning. And then that unfortunately peters out. Let's make this a 5-0 to us, not to Kaiserslautern. Right, Johnny, is the training intensity set to high? The training is under the management of our staff. It doesn't look particularly intense to me. I will have a look in due course. Right, Gerhardt sends it in. Good save from Schmidt from the corner. From a tactical point of view, the intensity is on the high side, which is something to be considering for sure. Uncle Google would deliver this answer, and I do agree. Music is a flowing art that is always changing and moving, and relies on the passage of time to operate. That says a lot of nothing. A painting is a picture of a single moment in most cases, and it doesn't move or change as time passes. Okay, right, yeah, I see that. What about other arts, though? Like you have the dramatic art, for example. Right, Tigges, there we go, that's 1-0. Is it offside? I thought it looked okay to me, which isn't what I want, but I think that stands, doesn't it? It doesn't? We're all right. We get away with it. Right, so you do say stuff can get a bit messier with modern art, but that would be a fair general description. That was tight. That was very, very tight. David good enough. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. Exactly, Holifab. Right, so Thomas Lynn, thank you for the detailed answer. No worries at all there. Right, Mr. Grizzly P. Right, okay. The hydrates came in because you were all trying to waterboard me. Fair enough. Fair enough. Muller, Hine. That's another chance goes begging. Okay, so one last question. Sorry if it's annoying. The average positions info screen in the analysis tab works very well. However, when a player is subbed, the average position will remain with a starting player. Is that an FM limitation, or is there a way around that to include the average position of the subbed-on player? No, it's a limitation of SI, so I'm afraid. We're gonna fucking draw this game. We're gonna draw the league. I don't know how you draw the league, but we're gonna draw the league. That's exactly how it is. Or we're gonna lose 1-0 because of a penalty. We are definitely guaranteed to give away a penalty. That will be 3 games in a row. Which I feel like when we've had these runs, it's always been like 3 or 4 games in a row that it happens. Incidentally, welcome in the glorious, the wonderful David Nyholm. Now, if you're not following David, go give him a click. A lovely, lovely gentleman is David. He can lick his own elbow. Did you know? I don't know why you would know, but you do know. Great with FM. Also plays some Euro Truck Simulator as Ake goes through. Is that surely offside, right? Is that not offside? Oh, we were lucky there. We were lucky there. How are you, David Nyholm? Oh no, not Elias Sard. What's your issue with Elias Sard? He's arguably our best player. Why so Sard indeed? Why so Sard? XCV Mika's in. Welcome in. Long time since you went on our stream. How are we doing with the save? Well, we've just moved midway through the season. We've just moved to Darmstadt. They were 16th, mired in a relegation battle. It looks like we're going to finish mid-table, so we're doing okay. I say we're doing okay. We're drawing a lot of games and we're playing really, really, really rubbish. But right now, these last few games of the season is all about working out which of our players we can trust, and then which we're getting rid of in the summer. And at the moment, my conclusion appears to be, look at that, just right. That's it. That's it. Typical. I walk away for a joke and the penalty wasn't given. Oh my word, it's almost predictable. So yeah, it looks like a lot of our players are probably going to find themselves jettisoned out come the summer. Naivni says the dramatic arts are one type of performing art which also includes acting, pantomime and puppetry. We can go for we can go for some puppetry. Puppetry's fun. RJ, I can lick someone's elbow. Good enough for me. That's a pretty good skill to have as well. That is definitely a good skill to have. As long as you ask people before you lick their elbow. I don't like what I've seen. We need to be better than that. We need to be better than that. Now Ellis Sims is injured as well, so he's going to be replaced by the just coming back from injury Wilhelmsen. Now they are more space potentially behind Schultz. Let's have a look at this properly. Let's see. So yeah, we can see that Schultz looks like Schultz is playing as a libero or possibly a stopper, something that's pushing up quite high. I think we want to be trying to get Gergorek in behind potentially. They've got really close together in that attacking area as well. So yeah, if we can get into these spaces with the fullbacks and then try and attack those channels potentially. Let's see what's happening with Kaiserslautern in terms of whenever the ball gets into Oliveira. He's seen a lot of the ball, but he's lost it a lot. So I'm happy for him to see the ball quite a bit. Marcel Lock as a goalkeeper I quite like. For us, Brian Hine has created chances. Asta's kind of been okay. Ellis Sims, yeah, we brought him off. That's fine. Let's go back into the dressing room. Right. You are going down to become a box-to-box midfielder, and now we'll swap them around because he's left-footed, he's right-footed. We're going to push Asta up high. We're going to ask... Well, actually, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring on Torsiello as well. Wilhelmsen's left-footed. He's going to cut in an attack. Asta's there, so I want him running into that channel in theory. With Asta pushing up, we are going to try and focus down the right and be more expressive. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. So, talking about dramatic arts, the audience is an important feature for the performing arts. All performances are presented in front of an audience, unlike film and television. That is. Now, what's a snappy term for each? For like, so painting is a type of drawing, but when you're trying to define the difference between drawing-based art and just art, what would be like the one-word term you'd use? I can say that person does music, but they'll also do the arts. That's what I was trying to get at. Right, Seb says, throw-ins and corners anecdotally seem to be the most effective set pieces. I guess they would go up with more tackles, but not significantly. I like to think that I spook teams with how my players are on the pitch. Fair enough. I mean, the thing is like, so from free kicks, that creates chances to send the ball into the box, which creates chances to win more corners, to win more throw-ins. So even if it's not just the number of throw-ins, you're allowing players in. That's you will see. Like, check your stats. If you have a save where you haven't used, I know you say you always use it, so you probably don't. Here's Wilhelmsen. Wilhelmsen should have scored there. You will see that the number of corners you concede and throw-ins will go up along with the number of free kicks you concede. Now, if you've got you've got a team that is good at defending set pieces, that's fine. Right, here's Schmidt into Nyhus. Schmidt again, back to Gerhardt. That's 1-0. It's not. Into the side netting. Okay, that was wide. That's wide. Fine. So Seb might try a crazy gang by going aggression, strength, and work rate. Could be fun. Definitely. So David Nyholm's managing Sard as part of your Germany network. Save with the guys. Fair enough. He's barely scored a goal despite being starting striker for a full season. Yeah, Sard has, I think he's got like 4 or 5 since we've playing off the left wing. But he does them in spells. So we'll have like a game where he plays well and 4 or 5 games where he plays rubbish. And a game where he gets injured. Another injury, yay. Cooper's coming on for Shabani as well. We're taking those things off because we haven't really been good. Look, Kamano Pants, he has legs, exactly. The most important thing, confirmed. Holofab does not consent to being to having his elbow licked. Too late, says RJ, fair enough. Knight of Knee says, as a lighting guy, sometimes I paint the stage too. Very true. Right, here's Ake. Ake shot blocked. I feel like, yeah, we made those changes at halftime and we've been worse for them. It's a bit of a shame. I think into the last 10 minutes, like at the moment, we're safe. We are safe from relegation. We are just playing for money from league positions. And there's Tarek Bookman. Makes it 1-0.
Darmstadt scoring, Aratalo's glowing, Nick has got us going up.
Boom. There we go. It came from a corner. We got lucky with the second ball. Okay, actually momentum has changed since we went back to what we were doing. But there's a chance. It's got to be a draw. We know it's a draw. We know this game is going to be a draw. And there we go. Ragnar Ake equalises immediately. It's 2 corners so far. So, personally, I do music, but considering that an art would be a crime against humanity. Mr. Grizzly P suggests calling it fine art. That's possibly, I mean, yeah, fine art tends to... Actually, what is fine art? I suppose fine art's main distinction is to separate it from things like abstract art, isn't it? Yeah, I think that could potentially be the answer I'm looking for. Right, Tim Arnold. I think I have got to the point where I am frustrated with drawing. So let's lose the game. Like if we're not going to win, let's go for it. And you know, maybe we get a goal, maybe we lose. It's absolutely fine. Or we're going to still draw and nothing happens for the remainder of the game. 6 minutes of injury time. Surely something can happen. Torsiello, Forkle, he was offside. Who was offside? Like, I think all of them were offside, weren't they? It's a goal. It's a goal.
The team will love the goals we drop to be part of the wave. Darmstadt winning under Mika Aritalo.
So I think that means we need to drop back and not be quite so careless for the rest of the injury time. There we go. Can we see it out? Arnold's going to take a free kick. Cooper on the edge there. His shot is blocked. Comes back. Here's Sherwood. Finds Forkle. Forkle's shot is blocked. Like, just kill time, guys, now. It's all good. It's all good. So Forkle with the corner. Like, I would like my set-piece coach. So set-pieces are also left to our set-piece coach. We can't change them once we're in a game. I would like our set-piece coach to recognise the situation, play it short and keep it in the corner. That would be quite nice. That would be quite nice. So Arnold with the cross. Wilhelmsen at the back post. Almost makes it 3-1. That's got to be the end of the game, right? It's got to be the end of the game. It is. Thankfully.
Darmstadt's going, Aratalo's growing, Nick has got us going, Darmstadt's going, Aratalo's growing, watching all the players, taking you to places that we never been before they now. Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat. Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat.
Oh, finally got to bust out the S Club 7. Like, from an entertainment point of view, good for the fans, that. Good for the fans. We underscored our XG, but they underscored their XG. The late winner. And that does us any good? Moves us up to... This league, I mean this politely. As politely as I possibly can. This league is dumb. 45, 45, 44, 44, 44, 44, 43, 43, 42. 3 points separate 5th and 13th. Right, Sims is out for 5 weeks. Sard is out for a week. That's standard. We look like we get some good news. And it gets followed up by more injuries. Like Bookman back in there. Top Rasmussen in for Dua. Wilhelmsen hopefully can stay fit. That's Torsi, Erlo, Ito, and Sims on the... Oh, no, not Sims. Zelic on the bench. So it's just Fröder, Wilhelmsen, Bookman we've got to be worried about from an injury perspective. Ahead of the next game against Karlsruhe. Right, so in the case of the player profiles as Nightwing, that would be rated as knife painting. Interesting. David Nyholm would argue that wine is in the fine art category. I can definitely get behind that. Definitely get behind that. Oh my God, not a draw, says Johnny Trotter. It's a miracle, an absolute miracle. We failed to draw by the bottle, quite possibly. Bam Bam loves the musical interludes, but my pets ran out the room when that started. That is the correct reaction. That is absolutely correct reaction. Half the league on 43, 44 or 45 points. It's crazy. And now, who's just played? Hanover and Schalke. So Schalke lost, so they stay within that... If they'd won, they'd go up to 47 points. They could have broken that deadlock a little bit, but they didn't. So Holston Kiel, if they don't win their next game, that just keeps... It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. The Zweite Bundesliga is the definition of dumb. Exactly, David. It's Forkle time. It is Forkle time. The advantage to losing Sard. Now, he should be... I think he might be fit enough for the bench when we get there. But it is time to give Forkle his dues. Go manage a team in Serie C. That's a real mental league. Is that just because everyone's really, really equal? Or what makes it a mental league, in your opinion? So Lookmar says, why are Dusseldorf shortened to Fortune on that league table? There's enough space left and longer names on the list. Lookmar, one of the things from skinning that really, really confuses the hell out of me is the shortening of team names, because it happens sometimes, but not all the time. I genuinely have no idea what the criteria is that it just seems like... I think you see it sometimes with Sheffield United being shortened, but if they're in the same division as Sheffield Wednesday, like a longer name, but also it's also Sheffield. Sheffield United will get shortened. Sheffield Wednesday won't. It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense whatsoever. Right, so RJ says the Zweite Bundesliga. The crazy close competition in the Zweite. Exactly, it is crazy. Just let's see. So the Vikings League has just started, by the way, as well. 3 wins, 5 goals, 3 assists for Mariaham. Whilst we're here, let's have a look. Oh, if only Ladislav Masifan was in, because Slaymar appears to be the starting striker. 4 goals in 6 games, starting ahead of Lundberg, who's got 3 goals in 3 games. R2's getting game time, hasn't been great. Antonio Yakub, yeah, he's been alright. They've got a player now who's just called Jimmy. Just Jimmy. He's got an assist. Billy Kumecho is out injured. 3 to 5 weeks. He's asked to leave. He's not going to extend his contract. Patrick Reitenen struggling. Dahlstrom still starting. He seems to be doing alright. Let's see how IFK get on over the course of the season. Let's hope they stay good. DM Basis says that Sirius says the one where you posted the rules on. I opened the link and just went no. There we go. So seriously has rules like this team is promoted if there's 15 points separating 8th to 12th, but this team is promoted if there's 20 points separating 9th and 20th. Johnny gives a more sensible answer. In Series C, there's 1 auto promotion place, promotion playoff places, 1 auto relegation place, and some weird rules for relegation playoffs. 9 promotion playoff places. Oh my. Yeah, Sutari's not playing. They've evidently they've decided that it's Slaymar and then Lundberg from the looks of things in the hierarchy. There we go. So it does look like they've gone to a 1. Well, it was the Eels manager, wasn't it? So we know that they play with 1 striker. Zamalxa says, I know you're a Villa fan. There are talks of Watkins going to Arsenal and Duran to Saudi. Who would you replace them with? Right, I'm going to go out on a limb. Watkins ain't leaving. Or Arsenal will need to offer like 80 to 100 million to get that move done. Villa were very, very clear last year when Arsenal tried to bid late in the transfer window for David Luiz that we will refuse to do business with them because they left it so late in the transfer window. And Arsenal have learned from that lesson by doing it once again. So I expect that Monchi has probably responded to the bid. We've already been told that the £60 million bid has been rejected. And I'm guessing that the rejection came with like a little note that said something like, fuck off. So I don't think Watkins is going to be leaving for Arsenal. Who would I replace Duran with? That's an interesting one because I would like someone with that same level of chaos as Duran, but I have a feeling that we're going to end up with more of these kind of hybrid winger striker type players like we bought in Malin. We're linked with João Felix. I really hope it's not João Felix. But yeah, it looks like in terms of the type of player we're looking at, it's going to be someone who's a little bit more of that winger striker type of mould. I'm not keen on that, generally speaking. Like in terms of, I think we need a little bit more variety in the way we play. I'd like us to possibly take a flyer on some of those kind of mid-level strikers that are breaking through. Obviously, like a Yanidis would be quite cool. Shimas is doing great out in Germany this season. I think he's on loan, isn't he? Like maybe if we could convince them to cancel the loan and bring him in as a development option, that would be brilliant. But yeah, so I want a bruiser. I want someone who would offer something different, something a little bit more chaotic. I don't think that's what we're going to do. Right, Karlsruhe, they beat us, I think, last time out. Sard is not fit enough for the bench, as far as I'm concerned. Berkman Gimba. Let's go back down to positive here. See how that goes. Right, the Serie C playoff system is great, unless of course we're talking about the Brazilian Serie C, which is nothing compared to Serie B. Fair enough. Tim Basis says my answer wasn't actually that unrealistic. I was being quite sensible. Fair. Johnny Trotter reckons that we should buy Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli to replace them. So, dear God, no. I did respond to RDF saying that, like, okay, if you want to leave it late in the transfer window and bid for our starting striker because you need a striker, then we can do, like, don't pay us any money, just give us Gabriel Saliba. We need a centre-back. Why don't we just take your best centre-back off you with 2 or 3 days left in the window? That seems fair. Adam wants us to bring in Alfredo Morelos. Now, he does do chaos. DM Basis is offering us Hamza Igamane and Nicholas Raskin 40 million each. Bargain. That was close. The man wants chaos. I do want chaos. Absolutely. Right, so Aston Villa can buy Tomislav Gudai from Vitesse. I will even bring him if the price is right. Now, is the price being right about like 20 quid? Maybe if we push up to 50 quid. RJ is offering out Vazquez. I mean, I'd be quite on board with taking. I can't remember his name. Your Japanese striker. He did pretty well. Like, he's a backup. We could take him. That'd be fine, right? Maybe we take Dolberg. Dolberg definitely has the physical profile, the more bullying type of profile that we could perhaps build around. Well, he's not really. I wouldn't really call him, say, like a target forward, but he's got a bit about him. But I don't think he'd suit the Premier League. Here's Muller. Can he do something here? He finds Hein. Hein sends it across. Shabani makes it. No, Wilhelmsen makes it 1-0.
Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat. Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat. Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat. Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat.
Boom, there we go. Wilhelmsen. I thought it was Shabani who got the final touch. It wasn't. It was Oscar Wilhelmsen. He's got to be coming up close to 20 goals for the season. It feels like a fair... I think when we took over, he was on maybe like 6 or 7. I'm not 100% certain on that. So there we go. 1-0 up. Shabani now. Tries to find Gogoic. Under hits his pass. But here's Asta. Asta's going it alone. Sends the cross in. Forkel with the header. Easy claim for Vice. Gotto. Indeed, that's it. Gotto. Right, so at least cover the Eurotunnel ticket. Well, I mean, if we have to pay for... it's Holofab, sorry. Holofab is going to cover the cost of travel, so the club don't need any money from it. It'll be fine. Right, here's Diallo. Diallo to Moser. That is 1-1. That is 1-1. I am definitely taking over set pieces at the end of the season. It's another goal conceded to a set piece. If it's not penalties, it's goals from corners. Moser to Diallo. Diallo plays it back to Moser. It takes a wicked deflection on the way through, but the man on the line could have possibly at least got a touch on it. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. We could go for Troy Parrott. Chance for puns, if not goals. That would be good. Hung Min is suggesting that we could go for Ekatike. I don't see him being really an Emery type of striker. Yeah, maybe. So Sam Oxford says it's an odd second kit colour. Wonder where the orange comes from. It makes a little bit more sense with the splash of blue there, but it is a bit odd, isn't it? It is a bit odd. Again, half time, I'm not happy. Actually, I think we've played okay, but there we go. Let's see what the deal is at this point. Bring up that. Yeah, like from a momentum point of view, we are definitely playing well. But as RJ says, it's a road to the draw. The road to the draw once again. There's Gimba giving the ball away. Welcome back, Gimba, from your suspension. What's going to happen here? Nothing so far. Vice with a goal kick. Sends it long. Here's Gergoek. Plays it into Muller. Muller has a chance to run. Muller. Oh, just wide from Muller. I've liked Muller as the box-to-box. I think he's done quite well there. I'm not convinced. So Shabani's played in a number of roles now. Hasn't really done anything. As Forkel has a good chance. Heads it over. I think Shabani is definitely one for the chopping block. Shervold seems to be doing well wherever he plays. He's played as a right back. He's played as a defensive midfielder. Played as a box-to-box midfielder. Seems to be involved with everything he does. Here's Gergoek. Can we make it 2-1 now? Gergoek plays it inside to Asta. Asta's crossed to the far post. It's Forkel again. Oh, that's a great save from Weiss. Just anywhere else. Head it anywhere else and that would have been 2-1. Right, Karlsruhe Stadium is looking enormous. It is crazy, isn't it? Called the Bank Wild Park. Bank. Joke aside, isn't there a championship striker who could take the step up to Villa? I don't know. I'm sure there is. I don't know enough about the champion. I haven't really followed it at all for the last couple of seasons. Nice that we're no longer in it. Hein does well. Plays it to Wilhelmsen. Somebody score. Oh, Hein did brilliantly. Mate got the crossing position. Fed Wilhelmsen. Wilhelmsen, though, striker that refused the shooting opportunity. Right. 66 minutes in. The change is coming. Gergoek has been more involved in the second half, but not necessarily by a great deal. Going to bring on Berda to let Shoveld play a little bit higher up. I think that's what we're going with. Macho Zelik, plenty of time. I have faith in you. And maybe we end up bringing on Torsiello and having that second striker available. Come on, demand more. We've not taken our chances. Karlsruhe now with the free kick. Back post, there's Garl. His header is over. It's okay. It's okay. So, Mr. Grizzly P says, Beckham just scored a hat-trick of free kicks in your 95 Tottenham save. It was in the UEFA Cup against Dynamo Minsk, but it was still incredible and a first in 20 plus years of playing FM. That is incredible. It's a good free kick there. Talking of free kick, Schmidt saves it though. Borgia Signs and Latte Laugh are the only ones off the top of my head that would be worthwhile. Is Latte Laugh doing particularly? I know there's a lot of hype around Latte Laugh because of FM, but I've not really heard much. Not Josh Meyer. No, zero interest in Josh Meyer, I'm afraid. Right, so we made those changes and we've got worse. Forkel's going to be the man coming off. That's going to see Zelik out that side. We're going to go back to the pressing forward, inside forward. Ball back attack. Actually, no, we're going to wing backs on attack. Wing back there, wing back support on that side. Let's once again go for it. Let's really, really push in these last few minutes. We deserve a win. That's a good time to say the words, we deserve a win. Here comes Jensen with the corner. It's going to be an outswing with the right foot. Yeah, it's okay. We cleared the lines. Here's Treiber. Will our players get out of the box? They will. Wilhelmsen with the tackle. Treiber, though, it still stays here. Zelic steps in and just hoofs it clear. No one's there. It's going to be Zelic himself chasing it down. Here's Gorlick. Oh, that is poor defending from Hein. Leaves the channel and doesn't even make an attempt to close it down. Camembert to Treiber. Hits the woodwork. That could have been 2-1. That should have been 2-1. Right, Enns comes away with now. Here's Shoveld, finds Wilhelmsen. Torsiello, back to Asta. Wilhelmsen down the right-hand flank here. Inside, that's a nice ball. Zelic, oh, what a save from Weiss. What a save from Weiss. Asta will take the corner. Right footer, in swinger. To the far post. That's headed clear. Here's Shoveld. Shoveld tries to play it forwards. Torsiello can't get there. He's only short is Torsiello. He can't get there to that little cutback either. Asta, cross to Muller. Muller back out to Asta. Asta volleys it in first time, and that's claimed by Weiss. Do I have Tatsu Ito? Can he come on in any respect? I don't really think that he's the man to bring on. Oliver Cooper could be. Muller is looking tired, so that will be the change there. Let's demand more once more into the last few moments. There we go. That's the 3 minutes of injury time up. So I wonder if Tammy Abraham would fit into the Villa team. He is British, maybe not too expensive. Our fans have a great fondness for Tammy Abraham for his time in the Championship. I don't know if he's got enough availability. I would imagine would be a little bit of an issue. His injury history isn't great. Let's be fair. Hongdamin wants us to sign Macho Retegui. That he moved in real life, right? He's like be super expensive. And there we go. Another draw. Another draw. We have. Oh, Torsiello's about to get a pay increase. Like a 50% pay increase. I don't like the sounds of that. Ellis Sims, though, is out for the last 3 weeks, so he's going to get that game at some point. Ah, well. Right, he's going to get the pay increase, and then he's going to find himself on the transfer list in summer. I suppose, like that's something. Maybe we will look at that striker who wasn't a striker from our youth intake. Yeah, at this point, all our far too many players have been rubbish. So let's look at Atlas Uster. He's going to move up to the senior squad. We're going to give a debut to a 15-year-old if we're allowed to. Otherwise, who else? Nürnberger's out on loan. Rashidi and Wyatt are shit. Robin Kraus. Yeah, Robin Kraus, you're now in the first team lineup. What about Benjamin Bonch? That's a satisfying name to say. Benjamin Bonch. Yeah, Benjamin Bonch can come into the senior squad as well. And Tamas Borbely, a player that we've already discounted before. Yeah, we're still discounting him. Christoph Scholter, 6'4", unambitious. Nothing really excites me there. So we've got a few players. I think that means Torsiello. No space for Torsiello. Oh, we can't register Uster. Does he need to be... We can't... Oh, no. No, you're boring. You're boring. How dare you not allow us to register our 15-year-old? Probably can't play players under 16. That's disappointing. That is very, very disappointing. Change your rules. Allow child labour. Which is a good note to say. We've got a break coming up, so I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave that thought with you. Come back as we try and circumvent child labour laws in Germany. See you guys in about 3 to 4 minutes. My apologies. Welcome in, guys. Hello there. Thank you very, very much for the raid, Tony. How was tonight's stream? How was the Jameson challenge? For those that don't know, Tony and Steve Sidwell were playing FM24 tonight, taking over Newport County in a challenge to get them up to the Premier League by February the 14th. February the 14th in real life, not in not in game. That would be unfair and unreasonable to expect them to climb 3 divisions in like 6 months' time. So how did it go? Lovely to see you. I do apologise, we were on a break. The ads are currently running, so those that aren't subscribed might have been hit with ads straight away. But welcome in. I'm MustermannFM. I am an FM streamer. I'm currently playing in Germany with Darmstadt. We're in our 5th season, so let's take you over to see kind of what's going on, get you up to speed. We played 4 seasons in Finland to start off with the glorious, the wonderful IFK Mariehamn, who are based on this like archipelago off the mainland of Finland, and we took them to back titles. We got them into the Champions League, and then Darmstadt came calling. So here we are, we're less than 6 months into the season. We took over a team who were facing a relegation battle. We've steered them up to 7th with 2 games remaining, which is kind of okay. But if you take a peek at our form here, we've drawn a lot of games recently. We've struggled for momentum, and we're not necessarily playing good football right now. We're ultimately using this period to assess our squad. Now, for those that aren't familiar with my channel at all, let me tell you a little bit about the way I play. I'm the creator of the Mustermann skin, which is a semi-attributeless approach. Rather than seeing attributes as a number, we instead see them as an icon. So players that are excellent, that's an attribute between 16 and 20 of these big blue balls. They are big blue balls. They've been starved of action. And we can see here with Oscar Wilhelmsen, he has elite pace. If he's got an attribute between 11 and 15, it's this kind of like medium-sized blue ball. And that we can see like his aggression, his finishing, his off the ball. He is good at a lot of things. We step down a little bit lower and we've got the average, which is between 6 and 10. He's average in some of the defensive attributes, marking, positioning and tackling. And then he's rubbish at 5 or less at corners. So rather than seeing the full gamut of a player's ability, we've got very, very limited information, and we focus on performance statistics instead. We have these charts here where it shows their statistical performance. Wilhelmsen here scores 0.62 goals per 90, and that makes him in the 90th percentile? Yeah, 90th percentile for strikers. Now, the bigger the slice, the better they are at something. So that's kind of how we focus our play, which means that when we take over a new team, we've got a lot of learning to do. But before we learn any further, we had a little mini game redeemed by RJ just before I was going on a break. So we're going to go over and play that. And don't worry, I'll explain the rules, so it should be reasonably easy for you to follow along. Which means that probably the game we're playing shouldn't be Only Connect, because this can be, at times, a little bit more abstract. So let me tell you how Only Connect works. You're going to see pictures of 4 football players, one after the other. They all share a common connection, and it's your job to guess what that common connection is. By the way, RJ, yes, thank you very much indeed, because I had to jump off the break early. I haven't actually grabbed another drink. So we will try and deal with that a little bit in a moment. But yes, I might lose my voice. There we go. So your job is to work out the common connection, and the earlier you guess, the more points you get. The more points you get, the higher up that lovely little leaderboard you can see beneath me now. There's leaderboards for weekly, there's leaderboards for all time. So I'll show you the very first clue, and you can kind of start seeing how it works there. We've got this gentleman here. If you can work out what the connection is going to be between this gentleman and the 3 other players you're yet to see, you will score 5 points. And whilst you're popping those guesses in, I'm going to run off screen to grab myself a drink. And we're back. There we go. So RJ has gone for they all have Mustermann's haircut but bald. That is a very different one. Mr. Grizzly P is going for the strangest Real Madrid signings. Bam Bam going on a similar theme there. Unlikely Danes in Spain. Do we know who this person is first and foremost? So I have a feeling that maybe there is a suggestion that this could be Thomas Gravesen. It's not Thomas Gravesen. Do we know who the glorious, bald, no-necked man is? It is not Thomas Gravesen, DM Bassist. You need to go back a little bit further, and maybe that's going to be hard. If we don't know who the player is to begin with, we're going to struggle to know what the connection is. So DM Bassist suggests that they're all shit players for Celtic, which would have been fine had it been. That's Holster23 comes in with a guess. He says it's Stig Tofting. It is Stig Tofting. So do we know any interesting facts about Stig Tofting? Maybe the clue could be that all the players have played for the same team, or they've all played under the same manager, or maybe there's something a little bit more crazy or more out there. So let's see. Let's head on over to the second clue and see if that helps at all. Now, this player I expect is going to be a little bit easier to guess who it is, and can we then find a connection between Stig Tofting and this gentleman here? So DM Bassist says that's not a real person, that's just Sandy Toksvig spelled wrong. It is. I mean, I assume that if we only know Stig Tofting and Sandy Toksvig as Danes, maybe there's only like a very finite number of letters available when it comes to naming. So Adam points out that this is Ian wrong, or is medical car correct? It's Ian right. So Seb is wondering if the link is that they're just all bald. It's not going to be that they're all bald. Unfortunately, it's not going to be quite that easy. But so far for sure, they are both definitely bald gentlemen. Follically challenged, I'd like to go for. So do we know anything about perhaps Stig Tofting and Ian Wright that could potentially link them? Bam Bam has gone for more than one international B team cap. I like the thinking there. It's not that, I'm afraid. But that is a fine guess. Bruno says Ian half right, half wrong. He's always right, just to balance things out. Apart from his punditry when Arsenal are involved, at which point he's often very, very biased. MGNG is going for a player connection. Some good thinking there. Is it that he played with John Jensen, the former Arsenal midfielder and Denmark midfielder, John Jensen? It's not that, I'm afraid, but it is. It is a fine guess. Oh, Silvio has messaged over on YouTube to say that Aston Villa are 2-0 up. Get in. Who scored the goal, Silvio? Or are you trolling me? Is that just a joke? Because you say it's like only 5 minutes in. What on earth is going on? Right. So, RJ suggesting that they all didn't play for Anderlecht, which is a perfectly reasonable guess. And I think that technically all the players in this thing didn't play for Anderlecht, but that's sadly not the link. We now have clue number 3. Do we know who clue number 3 is? So Adam has asked, is that Repka? It is indeed Thomas Repka. So Villa are 2-0 up. It's Morgan Rogers with a double. Marvellous. What a time to be alive indeed. Your prediction of 10-0 at the beginning of the stream DM Basis might come true. Or, knowing Villa, we'll throw it away and it'll be like 4-2 Celtic at half time. Marvellous stuff. Now, we only need like 4 or 5 other results to go our way to get the automatic buy, but that's a good start. That is a good start. So DM Basis says, have they all been to jail? That's a fine guess. And Johnny Trotter has come through with something very similar as well. Did they all headbutt someone? Holster's wondering whether they all got the same number of international caps. And Grizzly P has suggested that maybe they played with Jääskeläinen. I can tell you that there is indeed a connection there. Because DM Basis is right. Repka has been to jail. Ian Wright has been to jail. I think Johnny Trotter can confirm that Stig Tofting has been to jail because Stig Tofting is the one who headbutted someone. Then we finish off with a little bit of Raja Nangalan. Indeed, members of Prison FC. Allegedly. So Stig Tofting spent, I think it was like 4 months in jail for assault after headbutting someone. Ian Wright spent 32 days in jail for driving uninsured. And Thomas Repka committed fraud. So RJ correctly picked out that it was Nangalan as the last one. Absolutely. We had to be a little bit topical, right? We had just a little bit. And I know that technically Nangalan isn't part of drug smuggling, isn't part of Prison FC yet, because he's got to go through the process. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful work, DM Bassist. A fine 2 points coming your way. Was Repka done for pretending to be a footballer? Yes. No, so I think he was like fraudulently selling luxury cars or something. Very, very odd. And then like when he got convicted of that, they tagged on like some outstanding stuff, like he had suspended sentences for some other wrongdoings. So there we go. That was a round of Only Connect. Well done, DM Bassist. So RJ says he's got released under conditions, by the way. So yeah, but it's in the process and it hasn't gone to court yet. He's released under bail until his court date. I don't know. Has he pleaded guilty? Pled guilty, or is he contesting it, or we don't know anything right now there. Sokoa Team says if a Brazilian was there, I would have guessed it. There are a number of Brazilians that could have been chosen as well. There's a surprisingly large number of players that could have found themselves in that list. So DM Basis, I was going to say they were all hard bastards before Repka turned up. Almost right. I mean, like with that picture of Repka as well, like that is got to be one of the most hard bastard pictures. Like he's just staring at you, looking into your soul. Right. So RJ says doesn't know about the charges yet or the plea yet, but he's back at training in Lokeren. What a crazy, crazy week that is. Like to come out of retirement, to sign for a second division Belgian club, and then to get arrested all in the same week. What on earth? What on earth? So don't give up the day job, eh? Exactly, Johnny Trotter. I mean, like, I don't know like Nangalan's personal circumstances. I'm guessing that if he's had to come out of retirement, that maybe money is a little bit tight, potentially. So maybe the smuggling was a necessary step. Or maybe he needed some cover for why he was in the area to begin with. Who knows? Lukmar says, would you have considered Uli Hunes for this game, since he went to jail after retiring as a player? Quite potentially. There was no like specific need for when they were sent to prison. Repka was after his career. Ian Wright was whilst he was quite young. I'm not sure if he'd broken into the first team yet. Stig Tofting was like kind of in the middle of his career, I think. Right, by the way, thank you very much, Viney, for the win. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. Morning, mate. Lovely to see you. I see that you've just seen your comment over on YouTube as well. I'm assuming you're the same person. Good morning to you. How are you? Who do you support? Who are you playing with in FM right now? I'm guessing if you said morning, that's going to mean that we're looking at Australia. Are we in Australia? Or because I think America now, if you'd be going back 8 hours, maybe in Hawaii. I'm not very good with my time zones. I do apologise. Whilst that's going on, Lucas Kubler has retired. He was retiring at the end of the season anyway. He damaged his cruciate ligament. It's out for 8 months, so like that doesn't really move the needle in any way whatsoever. Triple P needs to pay his legal fees. That makes sense. Apparently he just gave money to friends who paid drug with it. Of course, allegedly indeed. Savini is from Australia, a Fulham supporter. It is very, very early, isn't it? Isn't it, Viney? And what drew you to Fulham? So are you originally from the UK and moved out there? Or when it came to picking an English club, you just went, I like punishment and pain, and went for the team that matched that criteria most? Wright was prior to becoming pro, I think, and Repka after. Yes, so yeah, Repka was after his career. I think, Ian Wright was like 17, 18 at the time. Young lad. Johnny Trot. The money was just resting in my account. The drugs were just resting up my nose. Perfectly innocent, officer. Perfectly innocent. Right, there we go. We will keep Torsiello out of the lineup for these last 2 games, because he's probably going to be sold in the summer. No point in giving him an extra $5,000 a week, even if it might only end up being for a couple of weeks anyway. So you'll bear me one moment. Apologies, pardon me. Right, that win for Holston Kiel drops us down to 9th. A win could, very unlikely, could take us up to 5th. We've just got the small matter of Schalke. Schalke are another one of these teams mired in the middle of the table, so it's going to be a draw. Of course it's going to be a draw. Every game is a draw. Right, so when does Atlas turn 16? Is it before the end of the season? You kind of got to imagine it can't be, right? Like, so May, we're in May. He turns 16 in 3 weeks' time, so just after the end of the season. So yeah, sadly we need to pop him back down into the under-19s. It was a nice thought whilst it lasted, but I guess that Zelik is going to be our backup striker from here on in. There we go. So RJ says he wouldn't be the first football player who gives money to friends who do bad stuff with it. He's a nice dude, apparently. I mean, there's a huge difference between giving money to friends who do bad stuff with it and smuggling. So I imagine there's got to be at least like some element of paper trail that's involved as well. It can't just be like an innocent mistake for that, because if it's something if it's something really easily explained, you don't let that become a high profile news. You invite him in for questioning rather than arresting, right? Maybe, I don't know. So Coritiba's won the league. Well, hey, congratulations, Coritiba. A pretty cracking season so far. Right, so Viney, you're a Fulham fan for punishment and pain. You love the underdog. Not an expat, fair enough. We have a full Discord of about 200 people from Australia and New Zealand, full of expats, but I'm not one of them. That's fair enough. I mean, what is the coverage like over in Australia? Because I imagine, like, yeah, if you want to watch a game, you've got to be up at like 6, 7 in the morning. That's commitment. That is, well, if you want to watch an evening game, you need to be up at 6, 7 in the morning. Like 3 o'clock Saturday kickoffs must be awful. You're what, like up at like 1, 2, very, very late nights. Must be very, very tricky. That is some dedication. So RJ says, I guess time will tell. Yeah, but it would be sad. It would be sad. There's gotta be more to the story, surely. Like Seb says, Antwerp and Rotterdam are the main ports where said goods come into Europe. If it had happened anywhere, it'd be where he's playing. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's why you come out of retirement, right? So that people don't question what you're doing in the area. Or at least you hope people don't question what you're doing in the area. Hasn't quite worked out that way for him. Right, so our last 2 games, I think we need to go kind of as more aggressive. We've got a halfback there. In fact, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with double ball, box to box. We're going to let Asta play further up. We're going to pop it as a wing back on support. Stay wider, but dribble less. You can now become an inside forward. You're an inverted winger. You're a wing back on attack. You've got him dropping deep. You've got the 2 midfielders. Yeah. Okay, that low crosses isn't necessary when we've got Wilhelmsen. Gonna take counter off again. And I'm fine with our mid block. So from the line up there, that bit's okay. Sherville. Shabani comes out. Going with a Sherville Muller midfield. Gregoric isn't necessarily a striker. We are going to look at giving Tatsuya E2 some game time. And then we've got our young... Oh, Elias Sard is back. Elias Sard is back. Sard can play as the striker that doesn't know how to strike. Robin Krause is on the bench. Benjamin Bonch is on the bench. Atlas Uster can't, that's fine. Do we? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yes, we could finish higher up the league and we could get money. But let's give Bonch a bit of game time. Let's keep Sherville down the back there. Let's give Krause the game time as well. Why not? Why not? Right, so Viney says Optus Sport pays the game all live. $15 monthly subscription. Game start from 12 midnight. 15 Australian dollars. That's really cheap, isn't it? That's really cheap. That's awesome. Right, Holofab's gonna lurk the rest of the stream. No worries, my dude. Enjoy your lurking. Thank you very much for being around. I'll try to remember not to ask you questions. And it means I can't log in with Holofab fan either right now, which is a shame. Right, squad to 2 players. We'll just auto number this. That doesn't matter right now. Right, we're bringing in the youngsters, giving them a chance. At home, let's say we're doing well. Let's say I want them to perform well. Brian Hine, I will give him credit. He is the only person that likes our team talks. Literally the only player who likes our team talks. Everyone else completely stony-faced. H-Tank is in. Welcome in, H-Tank. How you doing, my dude? Lovely to see you. How's your week been so far? Do apologise because you came in just about on Monday as the voice was lost. So didn't really properly get to say hello. Thank you for the hydrate, Viney. Schmidt saves the early Schalke chance. Is that not the highlight? Maybe the highlight is something that's about to happen here. Shervold finds Hine. Hine beats Forkel. Forkel goes all the way back to Gimba. Hine now. Forkel is over. Forkel, what can you do here? You can cut inside. Nope, you freed Hine. Hine across to Sard. Sard just stands still, waits for it to come. Podleg makes the save. Or was it? Okay, it was blocked. It was blocked. So you're still here, just not active in the chat. Exactly. So H-Tank, no worries. Glad the voice is back. It's just about like. So I was trying to record a video last night, and after about the hour and a half mark, it was pretty much gone. So we'll see. We've managed to last through nearly 2.5 hours now. So fingers crossed we should be all right to keep on going. We'll definitely get to the end of the season, and then maybe some time to properly assess the players, go through. You know, do some of the stuff that we normally start the transfer window streams with. Hopefully as we push on a little bit later in. So D98 versus SO4. Is it football? Was it like the naval battle? It's like battleships. D98, SO4. Absolutely. DM basis, it was the speed that it went during the last stream that was mad. It was quite crazy. I still don't understand it. Like, now, obviously, when I tally up all the points, I have to watch back the videos. So, oh, Wilhelmsen, oh, why, what was that? What was that? Take it down on your chest, man. Take it. You idiot, Wilhelmsen. Here comes Schalke. Schauer scored against us last time. Borkowski even doesn't score this time. Slams off the post. Yeah, and when I was listening back and going through the game sections, I hadn't noticed it whilst I was streaming, but the voice was starting. You could see that there was a slight deterioration as the stream was going on. Really, really minimal. And then, yeah, when we got to the end, just bosh, gone completely. Absolutely gone. RJ redeems hydrate, thank you. Now you can hear that it is getting more gravelly tonight for sure. So we will keep up with the hydration. But it certainly it's doing a lot better than I managed yesterday. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. Right, Kraus on his debut plays it back to Sard. Here's Kraus, takes the shot. Sard to Kraus. We are very, very insistent on setting up our young right back to score on his debut. 3 times Kraus was given the ball, 3 times he shoots, eventually forces a great save out of the keeper. And here he is again, finds Hein. Bonch with the shot. It's all about the youth players. We should have done this before. Bonch. Pardon me. There we go. The hydration is definitely working because it's making me burp a lot. I will be on the honey and lemon a little bit later. Maybe as Hollyfab suggests, a little dash of whiskey too. We need to speak to Tony for that. Tony, obviously, the Jameson challenge that he's doing is sponsored by Jameson's Irish whiskey. So maybe he is the man to provide us with that whiskey. As Sard pulls out a thing. So yeah, genuinely, guys. Now it's a bit weird for me to be saying this because obviously he was streaming from like 6 till 8 this evening, and that's partly the spot where I am. But yeah, on Wednesday evenings, Friday evenings, and I think Sunday evenings, he's going to be streaming this challenge on the Wednesday. Steve Sidwell is part of it. He's going to be, I assume, going to be giving the guidance and the football insight. On the Fridays, Tony's going to have guests. I think he's got Lelujo coming up on this Friday. He's got Zealand on another one. And then on Sundays, it's just going to be him. All as part of this challenge, there's going to be various giveaways, which I assume will be whiskey related. Yeah, so definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth checking out, even if it is just to go and say hello and then come back here. I feel like I'm obliged to say that last bit, but I'm okay. I think we've been okay, not great, just okay. Right here from the kickoff. Oh, I need to show you the kickoff from the friendly, because it's only a friendly. Friendlies don't matter, right? Right, Sherville picks up a yellow card mere seconds into the second half. Yeah, the kickoff from the friendly that I played off stream was quite sensational. Definitely worth watching back. So remind me when that comes. Right, Levi says there's a penalty for Liverpool. Oh no. I take it that as that was a couple of minutes ago, has it been scored, Levi? Or is the chance of a win still on? So Hank says, does anybody think we're going to hear any FM news before February? He doesn't. I assume, I would assume that we will hear something. Forecall. Maybe we'll hear forecall. That forecall means
team
this.
will love the goals we drop to be part of the wave. Darmstadt winning under Mikel Artalo.
Yeah. So I think that we will hear something by the end of Friday. Whether that's tomorrow, whether that's Friday, whether that is, hey, we're going to have more news the following week or whatever. I would say that generally speaking, SI have at least said something at the times they've said they will say something, even when it's been bad news. Now, when it's been bad news, they may have understandably waited until the very, very last moment, because you probably want to buy yourself as much time as possible to see if you don't need to deliver that bad news. I don't think it's going to be bad news this time round, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I very much expect that, as they said, end of January, we will have some news. I appreciate that people's expectations for what end of January means might be different. But at the same time, I do find it very weird how people are getting quite angry online that they haven't had any news. When, like, come Saturday, if you've heard nothing, come Saturday, the 1st of February, which would be past the end of the month, I think it is perfectly reasonable to be disappointed, to feel let down, perhaps, as Bookman heads it wide. The anger and vitriol I've seen, I will always think seems a little bit disproportionate when we're talking about a game that you're not being forced to buy. If you have pre-ordered, you can get your refunds, and I would recommend even if you feel confident the game's coming out, is to get your refunds on any pre-orders until we have further news. Yeah, like, I think I don't feel any fear at this moment. Right, substitution time, and that substitution is going to be right. Fröder on for Shervold because of his yellow card. Sard is looking tired. I think we're going to have a look at Cooper out wide, and we're going to see what Forkall is like coming off the underneath play on the right hand side. So that's where I think. DM Basis thinks we'll hear news tomorrow. So RJ, always perfect with the cam delay, especially the claps. That's why I'm doing the claps now. Why I'm trying to make sure I actually do them as opposed to just mime them for that delay. Evening, gents. Hope we're all doing well. Welcome in, Zoachul. How are you? El Norby's in as well. What a Forkall goal. What a Forkall goal indeed. Can it be a Forkall assist as well? He sent it in. And there, I don't know. I don't know who gets the assist there, but it's Lucas Fröder with the goal.
Stand, scoring like no tomorrow. Stand, the goals are here.
Little bit of Fleetwood Mac for Fröder. Lookmar says, regarding the voice, if you're interested, there are a number of ways to remedy a hoarse voice immediately. Stage actors, opera singers approved. For example, like a gel you can swallow. Fair enough. Like, generally speaking, I'm all ears. Let me know. I mean, I probably will check that it is something that Oliver Cooper can make it. Sorry.
Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat. Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat. Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat. Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat.
We should have been playing the youngsters all along. Yeah, so look, I'm all ears. Obviously, I'll then have to do research and stuff into what these things are. But yeah, that would very much be helpful. So SI should have hired Holiflab for their Holiflab for their PR. Can't do a worse job. Like, I completely understand the criticisms of the PR, but at the same time, I kind of also understand the approach. I've mentioned this before. I hate drawn out long periods. So my personal preference would be to hear absolutely nothing until about a week before the game is available in early access. Tell us everything all at once. Then give us early access and all's happy. But I'm a very simplistic guy in that fact. Right, we've won a game. That's another win. That was a very good performance. We went a lot more aggressive. We pushed up the fullback. Kraus and Bonch played well on their debuts. Forkall did more than Forkall. And that means we get a full celebration.
Darmstadt addicted to the shindig. Darmstadt, you know we're gonna win big. Darmstadt, a love of innovation. Darmstadt scores to start the celebration. The team will love the goals we drop to be part of the wave. Darmstadt winning under Mikel Aritalo.
Boom. That's better. That is better. And that does take us up to 6th, which is crazy. So the lowest we can finish now is, no, we could actually finish as low down as 12th. But okay, so a point would be nice at the very least. Hein with the assist. Hein's playing well, apparently. Hamzagic praises Hein. Hein is leaving at the end of the season. Look, all these lovely words about a man who won't be here next year. Maybe he will change his mind. He's certainly impressed me in the last few games, so I've got to give him credit where it's due. And our final game of the season, though, it's away against Holston Kiel, who are just 1 point behind us. I think they absolutely thrashed us last time out, didn't they? Holston Kiel, it was 2-1 in the end. There's another game where we conceded a penalty. Yeah, there we go. But they've got Rodrigo Muniz up front. That's not going to be an easy game. So Lookmar says, getting angry over not getting information about a video game, if that's the worst thing going on in your life, congratulations. Exactly. Like disappointment, frustration. Maybe not frustration. Disappointment, 100% get that. 100% reasonable thing. You can build yourself up. You can be expecting something. That thing doesn't happen. Being disappointed is a perfectly reasonable thing to feel and express if that news happens. Anger, crazy, genuinely crazy. Oh, we've got some score updates. Girona 1, Arsenal 0. Fantastic. Zagreb 1, Milan 0. Jesus. PSV 1, Liverpool 1. Yoko's equalised. Incredible. Zamox says Duran has been confirmed for 77 million. 70. He's going to Al Sadd for 77 million pounds. That is a crazy amount of money. I can't be unhappy with that. But we do need a replacement. We need a replacement, and we need to have a plan. He's going to Al Nassr. He's linking up with Ronaldo, isn't he? We let Diego Carlos go. We don't have a replacement lined up. Yet we're currently now being linked with Disasi, Foyth, both players that I'd be quite happy with, but to let him leave before we had depth in place, that's why we ultimately failed to beat West Ham at the weekend. We had to play Digne at centre back. It looked like we had no plans for what would happen if one of the centre backs got injured. Like Digne didn't know what he was doing. At one point, we were going to bring on Lamar Bogard. Then we decided to bring on Martin. It was all very confused. Digne played like he was a full-back playing at centre-back. His angles, where he was looking for to pass the ball, was all as if he was playing an extra 20 yards to the left. So, cool. 77 million. I completely understand why you don't turn that down. But please have something lined up. Please have something lined up. Right, so Holofab says, I will buy the game anyway, as I do every year. Maybe I should seek help for this addiction. Yes, definitely. Always seek help for FM addiction. Coatibas, Celtic have pulled one back. That's a shame. Adam Ida with the goal. Atlanta have a goal and Zappa Costa. It's all happening in the Champions League right now. All is happening. Look, Mar says, regarding Duran, I personally lose a lot of respect for players that young moving to Saudi Arabia. I mean, I'm not a fan of people moving to Saudi Arabia, but at the same time, I mean, I am not someone who's going to cast great aspersions when we've not, he moved to England. England isn't exactly... Yeah, there are things in Saudi Arabia that I do not approve of, that don't sit right with me morally. But at the same time, there are things that people around the world won't feel sits right with them about England morally. I don't think they're the same equivalency. I think there is a difference in terms of how serious and severe they are. But that's because I look at it from my perspective. If I'm John Duran, and maybe I have a different set of values, then I can't necessarily say that I condemn him for going as a young player rather than an old player. And think, if you're going there to get the bag whenever you can. I mean, if I was John Duran, if I had the chance of earning that much money, I would have serious contemplation for it. If I can get away with signing a 2-year deal, I'll go over there, get a 2-year deal. Then I'm retiring from football. That will have been enough money for me to probably build enough houses back in my hometown to solve homelessness for the area and still live comfortably for the rest of my life. Like at that point, I've earned enough money to retire, make some good in the world, and then I'm not stopping someone else from stepping into that gap. Because whilst I'm employed, if I'm employed and I'm super rich, all I'm doing is stopping someone else from having that opportunity. Spread the love, spread the opportunity. So Atlanta's being checked for offside. Celtic are level. That's not so good. I told you this would happen. I told you this would happen. So from a footballing perspective, it just seems very unambitious to me. I mean, yeah, look, I have no competitive fire in me, so fair enough. I can't disagree that there is that part to play, that it might be unambitious, but I also question what is the point of ambition in that particular situation. Right, so I think we stick with that team. We go in against Holston Kiel. It's all or nothing. All or nothing. And Arsenal have scored now as well. Oh, all the results are going wrong. Right, so what does late developer mean? So it just means somebody that can keep up. Someone who can keep developing as they get older, sort of. I think it's once they're in like their peak, so around 26, 27, 28 onwards. Holifab says, what Lukman No Pants said. So I can't work due to illness, so I've got a lot of spare time. FM fills that void a bit. I mean, that's fair. That is very, very fair. That doesn't mean that you can't be addicted, though. It's a relatively healthy addiction, I think. Vaguely healthy addiction. Right, carry on from the last match. I have faith. Let's end the season on a high. And let's put the music back on. So Koratib says usually the South American players go to Saudi to support their families financially. Exactly. I mean, I think like when you're talking, I don't see why making a move for financial reasons makes, like, saying that going to the UK where you're going to get a massive markup is somehow better than going to Saudi Arabia. Like, you're still moving for the money in either situation. Let's be realistic. And especially if you've come from an upbringing where money has been tight, the opportunity for transformative money is always going to have a huge sway. Sam Alexis says you set up your life in 2 seasons if you're smart with your money. I mean, realistically, they've set up their life within about 4 months. But you probably need to stick around for long enough that they will definitely pay you. Levi, it's 2-1 to Liverpool. Bugger. RJ is saving the money and going to buy shoes. That's just because you need shoes. That's as good a reason as ever. Eunice Moose has picked up a red card. This is a dramatic last round of the Champions League, as Freeze gets his header just wrong. Let's demand more. Oh, there's another highlight. Maybe I should have waited a bit. Right, summer break from uni means the FM job is back. Perfect. The best job of all the jobs, let's be honest. Right, so Seb, it's on a 27-year-old centre-back who is already good enough. Even better. He'll be even better. There we go. Can't quite squeeze it through. Well cut out by Ita. Now, here's a chance for Kiel to come forwards. That's got to be cut out by Kraus. He's cleared it straight back into danger. Keita steps inside. Keita off the underside of the bar. Oh, Kraus, I can't say anything to you. Oh, can I? I mean, I've got a shout going on with all the other players, but I wonder if it ends up doing both of them. Here's Wilhelmsen out to Sard. Sard back to Kraus. Play it down the line. There we go. That's the thing you're meant to do. Inside to Bonch. Muller tries to find Wilhelmsen. Wilhelmsen turns, shoots. Pushed over. Arsenal are now 2-1 up. Boo. Look, Master, the Premier League is the biggest and best league in the world. Of course you get paid good money as well, but you also get to play against some of the best in the world. And part of the reason, I mean, biggest and best is subjective. I get that it's definitely amongst them. And one of the reasons why it's amongst them is because they spent crazy money bringing in players. I mean, do I think that Saudi Arabia is ever going to find itself as the best league in the world? I doubt it very, very strongly. But the way that they go about it is by overpaying players and making it attractive to come there. In some respect, Cristiano Ronaldo is hoping to be a trailblazer, the man who sets the scene. Right, Dortmund are 2-0 up, and Bruges are beating Man City. How about that? Indeed. We're not going to win if we don't shoot. That is very true. Gimba needs to ease off tackles. And let's look at why we're not shooting, shall we? We've struggled to create shooting opportunities. We've got a lot of the ball. A lot of it's in the final third. So actually, I don't need to look at everything else. That's enough information I've got. Let's move the ball quicker, and let's try and, when we're in that final third, let's try a through ball or two. PSV 2, Liverpool 2, Saibari scored. What is happening? These games are crazy. TM basis, that's exactly what the EPL did to get to where they are now. Essentially, China have tried and failed, but it seems that Saudi might have the infrastructure to succeed. I mean, what I think will... the thing I see potentially holding back Saudi more than anything else is going to be the climate. It's, you know, it's... they've got a lot of aircon everywhere, that's great. But if you're playing football in that weather, you need to play at a much slower tempo, and I think that's going to like always impact the perception of quality and style. I think that's going to be like they've got the infrastructure, they've got the money. There's always going to be the question marks hanging over it from a moral perspective, but ultimately, like, the people that they're doing it for primarily are Saudis, who are perfectly fine with Saudi Arabia, and then it's just the buy-in from the players. And if you pay players enough, they're going to be engaged with a reasonable amount. So RJ Onyedika scored just before half time. There we go. Muller. Oh, pick that one out. Pick that one out.
A team we love the goals we drop to be part of the wave. Darmstadt winning under Mikel Aritalo.
So here's Sard. Plays it inside to Bonch. Bonch finds Muller. Muller takes a touch. Curls it right into the top corner. That'll do. That'll do. So I wonder if the future is going to be fully indoor air-conditioned arenas. You've got to think that's got to be the best solution, but also, like, I mean, just the power generation required for it. Wilhelmsen should have made it 2-0. It's a great save by Wiener. Oh, Wiener letting me down. I mean, well, Wiener keeping them up, but there we go. So Lille are winning 2-1 against Feyenoord. Is this the most exciting round of Champions League football there's been? Like, there's goals everywhere. So I'd rather it collapsed and failed, but we'll see. In the meantime, go get that bag. Like, the money in football is ridiculous. I hope that football collapses under itself entirely, even if that means that every team that we've known and loved over those years goes bust, because it is horribly unsustainable. But I'm not going to actively force that to happen. So for the time being, I get to enjoy Villa throwing away leads against Celtic. Right, so would that be a club record fee received for Villa? Not close. Obviously, we got the 100 million for Grealish only a few years back. But what that does mean in terms of PSR and our spending power down the line would be very, very good. Very, very good for us. Right, Krause's yellow card. I'm going to bring on Asta. I'm going to make Wilhelmsen on support, and we're going to have both of these guys on attack now. Pardon me. Now, I think that's the only change I'm making. Just bringing on Asta. So China failed because the CCP pulled the plug on foreign investment in the footballing world and focused on domestic development of leagues and players. It's the danger of artificial state-sponsored investment like these. They can get axed overnight. There's always the danger in that respect. However, if it's, I mean, I'd say it's not that it can get axed overnight, but especially with the setup, is that it can be very much at the whims of those involved, and certainly it's likely to follow the zeitgeist. If interest in football wanes, here's Celta looking for the equaliser. It's blocked well. There's always going to happen that the plug will be pulled, but that was also a risk, even with the more structured approaches. I mean, like if there ends up, let's say the Premier League decide that they want to pull the plug in supporting grassroots football. They don't do a great job of it, but if the Premier League decide to send even less money down the leagues, like the entirety of non-league will go under. I know that's at a lower level, but there's always going to be those risk factors, right? Right, Froeder on. Sherveld off. Sard off. Jurgerich on. I think that's what we're going with. And then a little bit of fire up. Freeze at the edge of the area. Shot blocked once again. We're defending resolutely. It hurts to say that having purple blood, but Bruges are a great team for Belgian standards. There's a Muller screamer. Oh, yes, our goal indeed. For a moment, I thought you were talking about Thomas. In behind, Schmidt makes the save. Zamalksi says that it's more games than usual. Meanwhile, in women's football, the record is 1.1 million for a transfer. So that's for that's Euros as well, isn't it? So Gimba, who's just joined Chelsea. It's great to see that there is. I say it's great. Like it's crazy money. But it is nice to see that the interest is growing in women's football, and that like transfers are actually kind of happening at a rate where it's kind of starting to measure the talent within the pool, rather than it being a lot of free transfers and like very, very derisory offers. Right there to far post. This is nervy, but this is going to be a crazy finish if we hold on. Right, Hein is coming off. Who do I bring on for Wilhelmsen? We're going to bring on Cooper. We're going to put Borkel up front and play him as a false nine. Yeah, let's go with that. A false nine in the Zweite Bundesliga. Right, doing basis. I think China was arguably doomed to fail from the beginning due to the sheer size of the nation and everything involved, but I can't argue with any of your points. Give it 10 years or so and football is due a big financial collapse. We can only hope. So our team doesn't have value players, so Vitesse won't collapse for that reason. That's fair. H-Tank can't wait for Elon to buy Liverpool and turn it into Tesla Soccer Club. It'll be called X. We know his fascination with the letter X. It's definitely going to be called XFC. Pepe has just made it 3-2 to PSV. What a game. Right, 5 cross to Kwai to Sander with a chance to equalise late on. Focus, guys. Focus. Waste time. Drop the tempo. Change the mentality. So, long live Rhodesia. Is this version of the skin available on Patreon? Yes, long live Rhodesia. But just to be aware, like I know I should be saying, yes, go sign up for Patreon. I'd love it if everyone here goes sign up for Patreon. That would be awesome and wonderful, and I would love you and thank you for all time. But this version is available on Patreon. It comes exactly as it is. That means it works at 1600 by 900 pixels resolution. It will still work at higher resolutions. It will not work at lower resolutions, to be fair, at all. But it will look pretty rubbish at higher resolutions. It's not optimized to work at multiple resolutions like the primary skin is. So if you were considering signing up to Patreon just to get access to the stream version of the skin, and your monitor is under 1600 via 1600 by 900, then we're not in. I would not recommend it whatsoever. Hey, we won a game. We did not deserve that at all. Where's our songs?
Darmstadt scoring, Aratalo's glowing. Nick has got us going Darmstadt scoring, Aratalo's glory. Watching all the players taking you to places that we never been before. They now Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat. Darmstadt scoring to that Aratalo beat.
That means we could have finished 5th. Or even 4th. No, I think 4th was beyond us. Andreas Muller with an absolute thunder bastard. What does that mean? What does that mean? Sixth. Sixth is good. Sixth is definitely good. St. Pauli won 3-1. They stayed ahead of us. So, okay, yeah, we could have finished fifth if St. Pauli had lost or drawn. But that's a cracking result. Cracking from 16th all the way up to 6th by the end of the season. Boom. Right, they want players that are gone, that's fine. Kraus bids far well. Why is Robin Kraus leaving? His contract's up. Is he... we've got a... He's got an agreement to leave for Dynamo Dresden. No! Oh, that's a shame. I wouldn't have brought him into the starting lineup. There we go. He's joining Dynamo Dresden. That's a bugger. That is a bugger. Yeah, I think we can be pretty chuffed with that. 6th place finish, 51 points. We started. So when we picked up, there they were down in 16th. We had a couple of good results, and so it's up and down the results, but we were slowly crawling all the way up into 6th. I think we gotta be delighted with that. Now our goal next season is to break into the Bundesliga, gain automatic promotion to the Bundesliga. So we do need to improve quite a bit, quite a lot, really. We're going to have 2 teams from the Bundesliga coming down. They're going to be at least 2 teams from the Bundesliga coming down. They're obviously going to be the favourites for it. We probably want to go kind of big. We look like we might have about 5 million euros as the transfer budget for next season. Yeah, this should be a good challenge. This should be a good challenge. So Gio comes in and says, "Goal, Aston Villa, despite it being half-time." Nice try indeed, nice try. El Nobby says it was Onyedika with the goal scorer against Man City. Look, guys, what did I tell you? I've told you before that Onyedika is quality. What a moment, what a moment. So look, Moss, that's exactly what I'm thinking. We can only hope for a collapse sometime. Hope lies in the smouldering rubble of empires. Absolutely. RJ says it's the worst self-promotion ever. Don't go to my Patreon. Go to my Patreon, sign up for my Patreon, but only sign up for my Patreon for the right reasons, because you want to. I would love the support. I would love people to be interested in. I think the director's cut versions of videos are worth the fee alone. But I would think that because I've put time and effort into it. So there we go. But at the same time, don't ever sign up for a Patreon just because you want one small part of the benefits, because that's probably not going to be commensurate to the whole package. And so always act responsibly. And on that note, we've got an ad break coming up. So let's head on, and I will actually take the whole ad break this time. I've got my snack bar to eat. And I will see you guys in about 3-4 minutes. Right, okay, the ad break is still running for a minute, so I'm going to yabber on until everyone is back in the room and it's all nice and fair. But yes, I would like to say that I don't think that Zealand got the big bucks by bullying his own community, to be fair, so I'm probably going about it the wrong way, but it is a very Saudi-like approach. I'm going to introduce an F1-like charter whereby all viewers can only say nice things about the leadership. And if you don't, you're going to get like banned for 3 months from driving or something crazy. I can't really understand the current direction from F1. But yeah, we'll go with power along those lines. And then I'm going to be doing it. Yep, I'm going to be doing rebuilds called This is the craziest rebuild yet. We put a Kereke in the lowest tier of English football for 20 years. You won't believe what happened. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? This 200 CA player is really good. Lukmar lives in fear now. Look, need to censor myself. Coritiba is trying to get ahead of the curve by guessing Coritiba. I like what you're doing there. We are now back from the ad break, so let's talk through how we play the round of Guess the Club. You're going to see 4 picture clues because all my games involve 4 picture clues. We're going to start off with the stadium, then we're going to show a former player, then the flag of the country that this club plays in, then finally the badge with like details removed from it. Your job is to guess what the club is. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. Pretty standard fare, right? So let's head on over and play a mini game. Here is the stadium. Now, does anyone know that stadium from sight and sight alone? RJ says I need a loan song, but for Moneyball. I do, absolutely. Lukmar lives in the shadow of the timeout hammer. It worked. Timeout everybody but RJ, so RJ can win. That's a fair idea. Now, I need to probably think about doing this in a different order because we have a correct guess right off the bat. The very, very first guess. Hank the Tank, number 30, the 30th Hank the Tank, come in and he says Vissel Kobe. Matter of fact, just like that, this is Vissel Kobe, and it is Vissel Kobe. And so I definitely need to move this around in different. I think every single time we've got this so far, it's been from the stadium, and the stadium alone. Or maybe we just call it Guess the Stadium. That could be the trick, like Gothenburg is a perfectly fine guess. FC Seoul's a very good guess. Buram United, that would have been quite fine. Yokohama Marinos, all some absolutely fine guesses there. The second clue would have probably been a little bit tougher because we would have gone with a little bit of Lucas Podolski. And I mean, some people might think of Lucas Podolski being at Vissel Kobe, but that's not your first thought. That's not your first thought, surely. And then once we get to Japan, that does kind of narrow it down. And the badge most definitely gives it away. I mean, or does it? Because once you remove the Vissel from the Vissel Kobe badge, doesn't the badge just look like any of the generic FM badges? Like all of the generic FM badges look like that, right? But indeed, right off the bat, a fabulous 5 points on its way to H-Tank 30. Marvellous stuff. Right, so that was 800 muster points well spent. Absolutely. You got to witness the glory of Hank's knowledge. You wouldn't have seen that otherwise. So you'd have guessed Kobe if you'd seen the stadium and then Podolski. That's fair. Lestri is here. Welcome in. Just popping in before I get up to date with all the VODs to say hello. Keep kicking ass. I love you all. Even Quadmo. They are some bold words. Good morning, Lestri. Lovely to see you, my dude. Thank you very much for popping by. And I imagine you're now gone so that you don't miss out on the rest of the story so far. So yeah, here we are. End of the season. Let's do a little bit of a review. Alexander Brunst came in and was pap. Alright, okay, he conceded 1.4 goals. He faced 1.03 XG. That's not good enough as far as I'm concerned. Max Schmidt also conceded more than he was expected to. For a 22-year-old though, like that's not that bad. He faced 1.17 XG, conceded 1.23 goals. Maybe there is some value some value to trying to extend his loan or see what things are going on in the long term. 11k per week is a bit on the steep side, but goalkeeper is definitely a need. Max Vent didn't play, but he's got awesome hair. He's also a 5'11" goalkeeper, so I doubt we've got plans to keep him around. Right, finally done with that nonsense matches. Time for the off-season mercato. So I think what we'll do is we're going to go through, we're going to have a look at the squad and identify our needs off the top. But like the actual then looking at transfer targets, we'll probably save. Right, okay. A couple of words about plans over the next coming days. Friday is a normal stream, as normal. Tomorrow, if we get FM24 news, depending on what time we get FM24 news, I might jump into a stream. What will happen is I will probably pop a message up on Discord. So yeah, let me remember to do that, and I can do the plugging of Discord as well. So I'll probably pop a message up on Discord like 30 minutes or so before I'd be planning on going live, if we do have news, at which point we'll carry on this save and we'll do the transfer stuff whilst we're talking about the news and having a look through. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We'll assess now and we'll then do some more stuff either on Thursday or Friday night. Right, Taiwan Dua as a centre back. Can't tackle, can head, doesn't win back possession at all. Does step up and pressure, so like 639 minutes isn't enough to judge on, but I don't see anything for us to want to bring back Dua. So RJ, oh cool, I'll join that Discord. Beautiful. Barca have scored, City have scored. Boo indeed, boo. Right, Bookman wins his headers, wins his tackles, wins possession, keeps it safe. I like Tarek Bookman, even if he gets himself a stupid red card. Tarek Bookman, happy with him. Top Rasmussen, again, didn't play enough minutes, didn't win his headers, did win his tackles. At the moment, I'm not feeling awfully good about Rasmussen either. Our other centre-back was Gimba. Gimba's only 31. I said that he was 34 earlier. I was completely and utterly wrong. Live Doprof. Welcome in. Lovely to see you. Welcome all the way from Brazil. Fabulous. Who do you support, Prof? Which team are you playing with in FM as well? Love to know. Yeah, Gimba didn't win his tackles either. Heading's okay. Possession one's okay. Possession lost's okay. A player of Benedict Gimba's supposed quality in the Zweite Bundesliga needs to be doing better than that. So I think we might go into next season hoping that nobody wants to sign Tarek Bookman, because he's the only defender I think I want to keep. At right back, Simon Astor. We had him in a more supporting role, so we were mainly prioritising tackle win rate and progressive passes. I'd like tackles to be up around 80%. That's acceptable. 79%, reasonably progressive, almost about 15% compared to the number of passes he does. That seems to be all right as well. Did chip in with some expected assists. Yeah, solid. Roberto Massimo didn't play enough. We're selling him. We've been trying to sell him, as it has been. Further, the defensive midfielder. 74% tackle win rates around average for a defensive midfielder. He's more involved in the sweeping side of things, possession one, rather than the pressure side of things. Safe on the ball. Fine, not necessarily great, but fine. Coritiba and DM basis, it's 2-0 to Zagreb over Milan. Crazy. Or not. Goal disallowed. Ah, well. Robin Kraus, we've just discovered, is leaving. And Milan has a red card, though. Ah, that explains things, but that's still quite cool. Shervold came in on loan. I quite liked Shervold. I think that he did okay. He did spend some time at one game at right back, 3 further up the pitch. Not really, though, active in possession one or pressures attempted. He was active attempting tackles. Yeah, like for a midfielder, they have to have one of these two, really. So my feeling right now is that Shervold won't come back. So Brian Hine here. There we go. RJ says that Sherville's positions don't make sense. What do you mean? What do you mean? Aren't you used to the right back, right wing back, right attacking midfielder, but not right midfielder combination of Frederick Sherville? Does look nice and funky though. Does look nice and funky. Right, so look, Prof says, I think your skin is very beautiful. It's a shame that the resolution of my notebook is low. I'm sorry to hear that. Like, so what is the resolution of your notebook? The public release skin is designed to work from 1368 by 768 upwards. Sorry, 1360 by 768 upwards. So it should cover a lot of them, and you should be able to get relatively close to it with the zoom out function as well. So if you do want to try it, you could go and change your preferences to zoom out 85%. I have been informed that it does work on Steam Deck, so it hopefully can work in most scenarios. Right, Brian Hine as a fullback, dribbled, created, won his tackles. He's opting out. Maybe if we get closer to when it expires and he changes his mind, I'd be happy to keep him around. He did the things that he kind of want him to do. Right, so Thomas Muller is potentially retiring at the end of the season, and yet he's still the most creative player on the pitch for Bayern right now. Fußball Gott. I mean, that isn't that part of the thing of being that experienced? Is, you've got the footballing intelligence. So Holipab says, Sherville, where can you play? He answers, yes. It's a Tetris block. Exactly. That's what it looks like. A Tetris block. I mean, yeah, we need more players. We need more players like that. Like Tim Arnold didn't play enough. No assessment on him whatsoever. Right, Andreas Muller, sweeping more than pressuring. 71% tackle win rate is on the low side. Headers isn't particularly great in that regards. Muller, he scored an awesome goal. That helps. Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. He's probably one that we might look to move on as well. We're basically our team going into next season is Tarek Bookman. No one else. And maybe Brian Hine if we can convince him to stay. Goal for Brest, marvellous. Herman is in. Welcome in. How you doing, my dude? Lovely to have you here. Okay, yours is not 1360 by 760. Fair enough. Yeah, you can try at a lower zoom. If not, I'm sorry. I mean, like, yeah, I don't think many custom skins will support much lower, sadly. Brest haven't scored. It's been disallowed. And Milan have equalised. Wow, it's all going on. Standing ovation for Cody Gakpo as he's subbed off. That must be a sigh of relief, Levi, as well. Muller is only 67, so he can't retire yet. He's a spring chicken. Enes Shabani is shit. Okay in terms of creativity, rubbish at everything else. He can go. Bookberger only played 42 minutes. When Benjamin Bosch played more than that. So yeah, we're not looking. The unambitious defensive midfielder / attacking midfielder got an assist. We'll probably look to. We can't judge off these minutes, but we might look to keep him around. Right, Oliver Cooper playing meant to be our more attacking midfielder. That's good in terms of creativity for an attacking midfielder. Scoring's been pretty decent. Can't really do anything from the defensive side, but kind of okay in terms of on the ball. Only loses the ball 12 times for an attack-minded midfielder. That's decent. I think we can work with him there. So, Lukmar says, in my school, whenever the children ask me Messi or Ronaldo, I always answer Thomas Müller. That's the German in you. They ask that more than you would think, by the way. It's got to be asked like every day, surely. You can't compare the two when Ronaldo retired before Messi really came onto the scene. Indeed. The only Ronaldo. Right, Knight of Knee reckons that the Brest goal should have never been disallowed. What happened? Right, Elias Sard. Just above average dribbling. Below average creativity. Not particularly sensational goal scoring. He does pressure. He does pressure. I think we're selling him. Like, that's not good output for €51,000 per week. Especially when you're considering that Dustin Forkel is currently at the club. 618 minutes again, not enough to. I would be looking at around 900 minutes as my kind of like 10 full games. But early game sign, lots of expected assists, lots of goals. Not the most dribbly, but Forkel's been great. So Sard out, Forkel in. Zelic, 581 minutes, not enough. We gave him opportunities, he didn't perform. Gergorec, though, I like. Dribbles, creates, applies pressure. Maybe we can keep hold of him. Wilhelmsen, been decent. He scored his goals above his XG. He's winning his headers at a good rate for a strike of 44%. He's applying pressure. I think we can work with him. I think we can work with Wilhelmsen. His value isn't 30 grand a week is a lot at this level. His value isn't particularly high though, so I'd be loath to sell him because trying to get a replacement for less than that would be exceptionally tough. Torsiello, 136 minutes, can't judge. Ellis Sims, 325 minutes, you can't judge. Few injuries, but he has scored in his brief showing. So, looking at what we've got at the moment, my plans look like. So our goalkeeping situation looks something like that. Rashidi we didn't want. Kraus is leaving. Shervold probably won't come back. Yeah, but if we could keep him, we would. I don't want to consider him as a right back though. Asta might survive. Bookman will survive. None of these guys will. Hein will. Oh, he's opting out, but his contract's got another year on it. Okay, we've got Hein. That's fine. So if we look at, say, I was happy with Ferreira. And then we've got someone like Sjovold there. We've got Muller that I'm happy to keep around. Bonch to possibly have a part to play. Cooper has a part to play. Where is Forkel? Forkel's the main man. Forkel. See if we can get Gergorec to stay. And then something like that, right? Something like that. So our squad, potentially, the way that I view our squad going into next season is that we need a lot of players. A lot of players. Right, DM Basis says, I recognise one Ronaldo and he isn't Portuguese. Exactly. Hank goes for neither Messi nor Ronaldo has played for the mighty Real Betis, like Anthony. That's a fair point. So Real Madrid happened. That's why Brest's goal has been disallowed. I just like Brest, but fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, City have turned it around, 2-1. Right, so Lukmar says that I shouldn't sell him. Like, Holofab's questioning the players on 51k per week. Exactly, it's mental. Lukmar's like, don't sell him. If he isn't performing, it's you who's wrong. Change the tactic. 50k a week at Zweite Bundesliga level. Not a hope. I mean, it is my fault. The tactic is wrong. We're not getting the best out of him. But for that kind of money, he should be able to adapt. So, not even he's not even following the Brest game. He just wanted to troll. That's fair. Pep got a yellow card. Villa have scored. Zagreb have scored. Lille are now 3-1 up. It's another own goal. Lukmar was such a Bruges fan now that Man City have turned it around. RJ says we need a full team. We don't need a full team. We will run with, like, if we, how many players is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No goalkeepers. A back three, which is just one centre back, a right back, and a left back. 5 central midfielders. So I'm thinking, so yeah, we can do that. We can do 2 defensive midfielders, 3 central midfielders. I think we can do that. Like, let's just assume that Ellis Sims has to play in goal for the time being. But So, no, it's Muller, Bonch, Cooper, Burda, Shervold. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so actually, yeah, we've got maybe too many. Do we go striker? We've got 2 strikers. Forkle is probably the better of the options there. So I think if we run with something like that next season, I think that could work, right? Like, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a little bit weak down, like in these defensive areas. There's big gaps there. We don't necessarily have anyone out on the right, but I think we can use the defenders to get forwards. We could maybe double up with the halfbacks. Maybe these guys are super attacking, and these guys are responsible for covering those areas once they go forwards. Yeah, definitely attack there. In fact, actually, you'd be super attacking. You'd be on support, right? That's your 3. That's your 2. You kind of help something like that. I think we could work with that. I think we could work with that, right? Yeah, we could play a game like that. We can play with 11 players. It's fine. Lookmar reckons that if Rouge ball it up versus City, that France should be allowed to annex Belgium tomorrow. Just get rid of it. I mean, that's an extreme take, I gotta say. You may not refuse. It's not a democratic referendum. Each tank, what's that monstrosity? This is like what we'd be doing with if we've got. We're currently looking at maybe reducing our squad to 11 players, and I think that's our total squad. That'd be every player, everyone else we're going to sell. I think that's how we would fit in our squad. We wouldn't have any subs, and technically we'd have a striker in goal. But other than that, I think that's workable, right? It looks almost a little bit like if we could have a 12th player, if we could put him up there, it kind of looks almost like one of those dressmaker mannequins. Yeah, I think I've lost the plot. Right, so anyway, we've looked at the squad. We have gone through. We've identified what our needs are. If we go back to our more realistic situation, let's pop that back here. We did run through, and that's what our squad kind of looks like. We need centre back. We need defenders, basically. We need a lot of defenders. We need like 5 central midfielders is fine. We need some better options out wide. We need goalkeepers. Up front, I think we're fine. These kind of positions, we're fine. So we do have reasonable pieces, but a lot of changes needed. And that change is going to come on our next stream, I think. So we'll go through and we'll look to see what targets are there, and hopefully we'll find something. So that should be like the end that we're coming there. And part of the reason why it's coming to an end is because I'm worried that Lookmar is planning for the annihilation of Belgium. Levi very kindly is inviting the Belgians to join the Dutch. That's fair. H-Tank suggests join the USA. Canada is about to, apparently. As is Greenland, right? As is Greenland. Oh, Holifab's already got there. So there we go. Let's head on out. It's the standard thing. So guys over on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. Is it the Vitruvian tactic? I like the idea of it as a Vitruvian tactic. There we go. Lookmar says that as well. Yes, indeed. Right. YouTube, thank you very much, guys. We're going to head on out. If you've enjoyed the stream tonight, please consider liking the video or liking the VOD. I think it helps. I don't really understand. We might be back tomorrow. If we are back tomorrow, I'll be posting on my Discord about half an hour or so beforehand. If not, we'll be back on Friday evening, 6 p.m. GMT. So I say